like the planet!
Everyone give me just a couple minutes here and we'll get started. I swear, you take 2 days off from streaming and you forget how to do the simplest shit. Like, where was that button again? We're gonna get started just a sec, guys. All right, let's kick this off. Let's see how this even looks. Oh god, that looks atrocious. I was hoping I could sit down in my nice chair. See, this is my nice chair. I brought it over to this computer to work on for the exam, but it's got a fat ass to it, and it makes the green screen look terrible. So, anyway, gotta fix this. You know what I really ought to do? I ought to just get a green screen shirt. I know they make them, and then I really don't have to worry about it. Oh god, everything is terrible. Hang on, everyone. Things have happened. my giant monitor just lost power as the desk was moving. I swear, you take 2 nights off, and you start back to square one in amateur mode. All right. In case y'all haven't noticed, this is a very professional stream, highly choreographed and organized. We do only the top tierest of technology. All right. Yeah, so much for me being in the nice chair. Hold on, now all my windows are jacked up. There we go. Oh my goodness, you guys. Not like most, I mean, y'all hang on. Hey, Euler, what's up? By the way, hold on, I forgot. Before I get ahead of myself, let's go through the back scroll. Agent 57 drew first blood tonight. Dead Beef Monster came in hot, dropping 5 gifted subs. I know why. Thanks, dude. And so, yeah, that was to console me for my abysmal performance on the exam. So that's what we're going to talk about it tonight and see how things were. So, and I'm sorry to start the stream late. I passed out with my son when I was putting him to bed, and he was just like, he's like, "Daddy, come snuggle with me for a little bit." I'm like, "Okay, buddy, just for a minute." Out. All right. All right, hang on. Let me look at something real quick here. Hang on. I can't even show that. Hang on one sec. There. Okay, so here was the layout from the exam. Hey, Franklin, welcome in. So here was the layout for the exam. So, spoiler alert, I actually did pass it. Hooray! That calls for a celebratory. Nerd! Yes, I'm a big old nerd. So actually, I wanted to kind of give a breakdown of this. So each of these was about the time I submitted a flag. So the exam is set up CTF style. There's a flag in there on each machine. There's 8 machines total that you have to capture as like you do your exploits. And so this one, pretty self-explanatory. What it doesn't show here is there's actually a gap in here of 0. You can kind of maybe tell. I don't know, because I think this was in British time. Oh no, 12 p.m. That is noon. God. I just shaved my head. So brain's extra smooth. Yeah, so because I actually started the exam at 8 a.m. So as you can see here, 11 a.m. was whenever I submitted the first flag, which was a lot longer than I had thought it was going to take me. So what I had expected was it was going to take me about an hour to set up the infrastructure. But I actually decided to be extra cautious when I was setting it up. It ended up taking me 2 hours. And then after that, it actually took me a while just to get the first flag. So the first flag was actually, of all of these, the hardest. And then after that, it all just kind of started rolling into place. Bam, bam, bam. And so what you see here was after I got the first 3 flags, I took a break. And then proceeded to work through here. I took a big break right here because this was actually the passing point. Right here. So at 6 o'clock, I had gotten the 6th flag. So you have to get 6 of 8 to pass the exam. I got to number 6 and then promptly took a long dinner break, spent time with the wife, watched the Y files, and then came back over and hit it again. And it took me a little while. It took me like another 3 hours to get these last 2 flags. And you can see, like, I knew exactly what was going on here. As soon as I captured the first flag, or actually, before I even captured the first flag, I knew about how to get the second one because during my reconnaissance, I could find it. So it was a really good exam. It was really fun. The whole time, like, I'm sitting here and I'm feeling like James Bond. I'm like, but like not as cool as James Bond. My heart's freaking beating out of my chest. Yes, Y-Files is amazing. I love that show. It's been crazy. Except I was watching Y-Files for a long time, and I remember when he had a tiny channel, and then all of a sudden he just blew up. I love that show. For those of you who don't know, Y-Files does kind of like conspiracy theories and urban legends type stuff, and then he goes through and he tries to debunk it at the end. But he does a really great presentation, because in the beginning he presents it as if like this is hard fact and here's the story, and oh my god, they were doing stuff and MK Ultra and whatever. And then you get to the end, like I'm gonna say this, probably 95% of the time it's like, yeah, that's not anything like what really happened. That's just the story. Here's what actually happened. And then this got misconstrued here and yada yada. But there is one really interesting one. Yes, I'm in their Discord too. So, yeah, but if you, my by far, A57, out of curiosity, what's your favorite episode? Yeah, his videos are so good. I freaking love Hecklefish. Hecklefish is awesome. So my personal favorite one was the Hollow Moon one, because it's one of the ones he couldn't fully debunk. So rated against the OCP, which is more like difficulty, skill level, stress level, and training. So Euler, I would say compared to the OSCP. Well, this is actually kind of on a different level. So actually, I've got a couple guys from the 0 Point Security Discord that I'm kind of tutoring on the side. Not really tutoring, but like they reach out to me privately, and I'll help them with understanding certain concepts, or like get over certain hurdles and explain to them and stuff. Think of it like what we do on the stream, just in text format. So what I was looking at with them is actually one of the guys that I was talking to has his OSEP, the expert professional or exploit professional. I forget what it is. The expert level one. And he was talking about it, after going over a bunch of stuff with him, going back through, I found out this guy is a OSC3, I think is what they call it. He's got the OSC. What is it? Hold on. I'm trying to remember. OSEC OSC3. I think that's what it's called. OSCE3. There we go. So he had completed the the OSWE, the Pen 300, which is the OSEP, and for comparison, the Pen 200, I think, is the OSCP. So it's the one before this, and doing the exploit development. So very smart guy. And I was talking with him as we're going through the material, and he's looking at it. He's like, "Oh, dude, this is pretty much the OSEP, the expert. What was it called?" Yeah, I moved my window. Get down there. No, not like that. There. Crap, what was it? Here we go. Okay, OPSEC experienced pen tester. His exact words were, "Oh, this is the OSEP, the Pen 300, but with Cobalt Strike." That was it. He said they looked so incredibly similar. So that made me feel pretty good. And in fact, I got another buddy who also has taken RTO and OSEP. He said the same thing. So definitely, like I was saying before, it's not... Thought I had a dead pixel just flake on my screen. It's definitely not like an introductory certification. It takes quite a bit of work. So for that, I'd say the OSCP are about meow. OSEP and RTO right about meow. They're up a bit. I don't know if my green screen's acting up so bad. I know what I need to do, actually. I need to backlight the green screen some more. Oh, you've been liking the compilation videos? Yeah, pretty much. I think I started watching him when he was about 1 to 200K viewers. I really like his show. It's so good. That is my... What the hell side is this on? It's on this side. Here. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, Y-Files, highly recommend it. It's such a good show. In fact, so I had an idea, and I might throw like a preview of coming attractions to these up on the Discord to get feedback. But I was gonna make. Okay, so Franklin, you were given access to a box. So let's say, for example, this was your exam system right here. You'll have the admin box, which you don't have access to. The admin box is just there to facilitate coordinating the machines in the lab. And then you'll have your attacker desktop, attacker Linux, and then let's say instead of a domain controller, this was actually like a corporate machine that you can access and you can look at, and you can kind of debug your payloads on there a little bit. But really, I did all my debugging on the attacker box right here, getting it all set up. And that was actually something that I learned very hard because I didn't understand the payload creation process as thoroughly as I thought. I just hadn't had any issues with it in here. So I would say that's probably one thing that was a little bit different from the exam versus what was in the lab. I feel like the payload creation process and getting it going was a bit more intense in the exam. So, and all that's now, here's the great thing. The absolute best part about the exam, 100% of everything you need is in the course. I cannot say the same for the OSCP, and I cannot say the same for the OSEP because I haven't taken it, but knowing OffSec, I suspect not. Because that's been some of the biggest gripes about it, is that the course always has like some external information you have to go gather. Now, we did that a lot, right, here on the street. We were going through, it's like, okay, well, shit, let me go look at this. Let me go look at this. Let's build a fucking 2,000 line aggressor script. Funny thing about the aggressor script, was it handy? Hell yes. Did it save a lot of time? Yes, it did. Was it utilized nearly as much as I thought? No. It makes sense if you think about it logically. There were a couple things that came up with the aggressor script that, thinking back on it, I thought were kind of funny. One is, I don't think I used but maybe 5% of the functions on there. And that was for two reasons. One, the exam is only so big, right? And think about this lab. This lab right here, there's, let's see, there's, not including the attacker setup, there's 1, 2, 3. Actually, Elastic Stack even is not including this. So there's 2 domain controllers. Exchange, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12 machines that are just pwnable in this lab. Plus another 3 that aren't, right? So there's 8 over in the, what is it? There's 8 in the exam. So there's only so much you could cram in there without having overlapping attack paths, which is exactly what we saw here in the exam, or in the lab. The exam does not have overlapping attack paths. And you can tell from the way it works that they're pretty clearly laid out. So I wouldn't say clearly laid out. I would say probably the best thing to do going into the exam. Here's my top 3. 1, make sure you understand payload generation very clearly and you know exactly what steps are going on with it so you can create a harder to detect payload. I'm going to say not a undetectable, but one that's harder to detect for Defender, which is what we use in the lab, so that works out nicely. Number 2, make sure that you are taking good notes. And then, actually, I laid out I can't show it because it's full now, but I had laid out a template ahead of time of like, hey, here's how I'm going to take notes on the domains. Here's how I'm going to take notes on the host. Here's how I'm going to do this. And then I had some checklists that I had put together like, hey, here's things to go through and check. And then number 3, I'd say probably don't panic. Don't panic because everything you need to make this stuff work is in the course. So it was really cool. Now, having said that, just because it's over in the course, if you don't understand it, you're not going to be able to implement any of that stuff properly. So again, it's one of those things of, hey, you want to just go hit it up, go through it, be thorough. We were pretty damn thorough in the course because, like I said, we ran through this lab 3 times. And so I'm studying for the Hack the Box CPTS, and I heard the exam has hundreds, close to 1,000 of users and such. How extensive is the test environment for RTO? immediately like how extensive it is. Because here's the are you talking about the exam environment? Because I'm thinking test, like this is the testing environment. Yeah, exactly. And I wish I don't really want to show the notes. You know what? Actually, stand by for that, because what we're going to do next is we're going to go build out the home lab. And as we do the home lab and we approach it, we'll do note taking. We'll have notes set up. I'll have like a Git book going and we'll work through that and see if I can get that set up. Oh, hey, Tiberius. What's up, dude? We are graced by an honored visiting professor, y'all. How do I do this? What's the thing? There we go. Hold on. My computer is fighting me today. Dude! Holy shit, Tiberius, thanks, man! That's awesome, thank you. We're doing a little bit of celebratory and post-mortem. I just completed the 0 Point Security Red Team Ops course. So this is Rostamouse's course. A lot of fun. Dude, the whole time, my freaking heart was just here like... I was like, yes, I'm hacking this stuff. Hold on. Oh wait, I was in the middle of doing something. You distracted me with your flood of gifted subs. Thanks, Tiberius. I really appreciate it, man. Wait, where's it? Oh, because it's 0x Tiberius. God, I can't type. Dude, he does make some really great stuff. I wanted to go through a couple of other things, but actually there's 2 other courses of his that he has given me permission to go over. One is driver development, and one is the CI/CD stuff. And we're going to roll that into the home lab as we start developing it. And I think I've got a plan on how we're going to do the home lab. The server I've got down here right now is running Proxmox. I might just boot Proxmox off of it and do a Debian install. And then we'll use Debian as the base for Ludus. Ludus is kind of built on top of using Proxmox the same way. So, dude, Tiberius, what are you doing up this time, man? Because I know it's super early. I don't know what your normal schedule is, but I usually catch you for my time in the early afternoon. Tibbs is a G. His Twitter is hilarious too. If you haven't followed him on Twitter, Exeter, X, whatever. Dude, he dropped some funny ass memes on there. It's 10 p.m. here. Tiberius, hold on. I thought you were in the UK. Am I just completely hallucinating? It's possible. The AI has taken over my brain. Hallucinations are getting real. Well then. Apparently the AI has infiltrated. So good news. You can start asking like really weird questions. Oh, okay. Well, awesome, man. Dude. So, I'm trying to think of something to do for tonight, guys. I literally am like, we're in the liminal space right now. That is badass, man. Heck yeah. I love that. Dude, that's so cool. That's so awesome, man. No, I maybe it was just like a dumb assumption on my fault then, which is sometimes par for the course. That was actually something that bit me in the butt on the exam because I didn't want to go like word for word on what was in the course. A lot of the stuff was new to me, particularly working over the C2 like Cobalt Strike. So I was trying to think how I was going to do it. Can't shake the accent. Don't worry, dude. Don't. Americans, we freaking love accents. They're best. You could say like the exact same thing as an American, and you say it with a British or an Australian accent, particularly. Oh my God, you just jumped up like 100 IQ points in the eyes of the average American. It's amazing. Don't lose it. Let me see. Hello, Panda. Come here. Panda just got back from a walk, so she has her harness on. Hey Boyd, what's up, dude? Dude, the exam went really great. It took me longer than I had anticipated, because there were a couple of challenges in there, but it was really great. And so My wife's like, wait, what do you mean you're going back to the exam? Didn't you pass? I'm like, I passed, but I haven't finished it yet. It's like, I got to get those last 2 flags, you know, just for the bragging rights. She is much better, thankfully. And so she's done with her meds now. She's been happy. She's about to be real happy because my wife and I tried an experiment making a couple of steaks, and it turned out horrendous. They weren't overcooked or anything, and we did not expect this. But so she's gonna have some treats with dinner. I'm trying to think what I want to do here. Actually, let's do this. I'm gonna mess around in the Red Team Ops Lab. We're not gonna do any aggressor scripts. We're just gonna tinker around in here. And the reason for that is because, you know what? This is gonna be probably the last time I'm gonna get to use Cobalt Strike for a long time. So this is like my farewell to Cobalt Strike right here. Because I don't have a personal copy of Cobalt Strike, nor would Fortra probably ever give me one. I'm sure as hell not going to go download a cracked copy of it. Just crack it. You know what's funny? There used to be a blog post. I'm sure somewhere on the internet it's probably archived. But it was how to... it was actually how to crack Cobalt Strike. This was before Fortra bought them, and I'm pretty sure they made them take down the blog post. But yeah, so the guys, Help Desk Systems, actually put out a blog on how to crack Cobalt Strike and get it working. So that way, people would stop downloading the infected with malware cracked copies that were out on the internet. Hey, Tiberius, thanks for stopping by, dude. Really appreciate it. I know it's late, and this is the only time I can stream. But I appreciate you stopping in, man. Okay, visiting professor. Let's see, we're going to let this lab stop, and then we're going to reboot it. We're just going to tinker around in here tonight. We'll do fun stuff. Waiting for these last couple machines to stop, and then I'm going to blow it back to flat. And then we'll have a little bit of fun. Learning a few things in here. In fact, we're gonna leave Defender off so we can just kind of tinker around in here. Because like I said, I really liked doing this with Cobalt Strike, and I finally realized, like after I finished the exam, I'm like, damn, I'm not gonna be able to play with Cobalt Strike anymore. I could if I went and bought more lab time. But honestly, the stuff I want to do is kind of beyond the scope of this lab now. So until maybe we move into RTO2 and start tinkering with that, I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, Sliver's next. Void, actually, I don't know if we're going to... I think probably we're going to start with Mythic. Because if there was an open source competitor to Cobalt Strike, it would be Mythic. And so, and I got something cool planned for that. I don't want to give it away just yet, but well, it'll be a little bit because we're going to take some time to go through and develop the home lab. I'm working on like a text-to-speech queue here for the stream, so that way, like, it'd be like, I don't know, like 100 channel points or something, or 200, and you can ask questions, and it goes into a queue, and it will read them out. I'm testing out how to automate some of that stuff. No, Mythic is the one put out by It's a Feature. Mythic C2. And the documentation is very cool, and the whole thing is run on Docker. So the deployment's super easy with it. But yeah, it's a really cool platform. I've messed with it a tiny bit. It's super easy to get up and running because it does work on Docker. And so, let's see. And what's cool is actually the agents have their own set of repositories, right? There's Mythic C2 profiles. That's their own GitHub. There's Mythic agents. And so you can have different agents, different profiles. And I think one of the things we might see about doing is maybe bring out Mythic and then work on developing, maybe developing a new agent for it. Because you know what? There is no DNS agent for Mythic. Nobody's built one. So that might be something cool to do. Caldera is pretty cool too. I don't know if I ever looked at Caldera. guess I should be more specific. Caldera C2. Automated adversary emulation platform. Let's see. So this framework consists of two components. There's a core system. The framework of the C2 include an asynchronous command and control server and plugins. So the plugins reporting collections of TTPs and more. Nice. Okay. Is this a C2 framework or is this kind of like Atomic Red Team? Let's see. So these plugins are supported and maintained by Caldera. So there's access. Ooh. You can build threat profiles and launch an entire operation or do everything manually. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this would be fun to play with. Okay, so it's written in Go. Node.js is probably maybe for the front end, I'd say. But yeah, so there is something here. Let me... Do I have it up? I don't. Hang on. Let me find something. Let's game of active directory. Hold on, where did I put the damn thing? Ah, here we go. Oh wait, that was how to do Go on Proxmox. That's actually not going to be applicable here because we're going to use Ludus. I forgot about that. So it may work. I'm not sure. Actually, I've never messed with Ludus, so it's going to be a learning experience. A couple of guys showed it to me. It looked really cool. I think we're going to have to probably build some machine images. That's what I had to do whenever I was deploying Game of Active Directory to the home server. I had to build out a couple of virtual machines because they're Windows machines. There's all sorts of licensing issues with trying to ship it. Let's revert. All right, so we're going to revert the lab, and then we'll hop in there and we'll tinker with it. And this will be our last hurrah with Cobalt Strike. So maybe tomorrow night we'll actually start on the home lab. Actually had some time to like do things around the house, like go clean the chicken coop and stuff. Yay. Okay, so all these are reverting. There we go. Nice, we'll give these ones just a second. Very cool. Let's fire it up. So yeah, it was really cool. Let me look through some of my notes here real quick and see if there's anything I can. Not really. There was nothing in there that yeah, there was nothing in the lab that was. There was one thing with a little bit of tooling that threw me for a loop. And so I would say just make sure you're aware and understand how to use the tooling. I even had notes on here like I was getting so frustrated with one particular tool that I had considered like base 64ing and chunking a beacon object file and smuggling it into the exam. So I'd say one thing too, like if you're concerned about like which tools are going to be available, pretty much every tool that's in the lab is available in the exam. All right, let's go connect. And you know what we're gonna do is we're just gonna leave Defender off, but we're gonna go tinker around with this a bit. Like I said, because I'm gonna probably like have Cobalt Strike withdrawals because you gotta think since I started streaming in February, so it's been maybe close to 5 months now, and I've been doing pretty much nothing but Cobalt Strike. A lot like Cobalt Strike customizing, doing all this other stuff, doing the the aggressor script. I'll say one thing too. So even though we didn't use the aggressor script very much, it did provide a lot of help in going through and like looking at certain things. It actually was the way we built the aggressor script. Let's go look at that again real fast because I want to show you all this. So if we look at the Cobalt Strike tools repo and the RTO helper, right? The way we built this thing, this was super handy because like if I had to go check something and change a path, it was real easy. All the global variables were right here. If I wanted to go find like a particular function, right? I knew they always started with alias, and let's say I was looking for let's say Microsoft SQL functions. So here we go. So I've got all these ones right here. It'll remind me like, hey, here's how we did it. And you guys see these are ones we did in the very beginning, right? Get SQL instance domain. This isn't a built-in function. So like these early functions, you know, we didn't include the PowerShell scripts in the function. It just ran the command. So we'd have to go import it and stuff. So it's kind of funny because you see the code maturing as you go down it. So maybe this one's not actually, yeah, this one's a pretty good example because you can see right here, I had this one set up. I knew what it was supposed to be running, right? SQL recon. And I could say, oh yeah, here was the command line switches real fast because of the way I wrote the code. So it actually did help quite a bit. It helped almost as a reference too, from having gone through it. So not only did it help understand the techniques, but it also helped with just being a command line reference. I could go through it and get like ideas like, what else did I do with SQL that I thought was so important that I would make a helper script with it? Bam. I'm afraid to ask Franklin, do we... Okay, I was afraid that you're... So yes... You guys are madmen tonight. Y'all are crazy. Thanks for the 5 gifted subs. Was it 5? Yeah. Can't count. Jeez. Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys so much. This was this course was so damn fun. Even through the late nights where I'm like cussing it and trying to figure out why things weren't working. Did the attack box just like never come up? Refresh it. All right, so do we have Guac access to other machines, like with Workstation 2 access? On the exam, no. You're only going to have access to the Bastion host, which is the one that the company has given you to begin the Red Team assessment. By the way, if you guys hadn't seen this is actually what we're going to use. Tiny 10, not Tony. So there's this neat thing where this guy said, like make window. He called it Tiny 10, and it's a like chopped down, tiny version of Windows, and it's super handy. It takes like a lot of the bloat. I used to do this by doing like a base install of Windows, and then I'd run Tron to kind of clear it all out. But it's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, so Tiny 10 isn't a Windows product. It's developed by a third party called NTDev. They don't have download directly on their official site, but they do post via archive.org. Interesting that they just posted on archive. That's funny. So I'm gonna mess with this. We probably will use Tiny 10 as the base for this. What kind of, so Franklin, I haven't messed with Tiny 10. It was a recommendation from someone else. I had not actually heard of it. I've seen other stripped down versions of Windows 10 that were used for like gaming. Like there was one called Spectre. That was another one. I messed with that. I had a lot of bugs with it too. So what kind of bugs do you recall, Franklin? And I'll tell you what, since we're just basically, you know, shit kicking around the lab, if anybody wants to see anything in particular, feel free to ask. Because I'll go over it. Like I said, I'm just doing this as like a one less drive around the block for Cobalt Strike. Show how to hack your Instagram? No, because Instagram's not in the lab laughing. I think you're so damn funny. Instalab. Yeah, there you go. That if you could figure out a way to like deploy a virtual machine to Instagram, that would be hilarious. Look for something. I think I closed it all. But like I had gone through and I had created notes. So this is what I did to prepare a lot. So canceled Sunday night stream because I was getting I really wanted to get some more work done on building out the payload to make sure I fully understood the process. Because I hadn't had a lot of issues with getting past Defender in the lab. I had more issues in the exam. And so I don't know if that was a lab anomaly or if that was just, it was dialed up during the exam. I'm not sure. So for some reason, I felt like I really, through divine intervention, thought that was something I really needed to bone up on. So I went through and did it. Hey, what are you doing? Hang on, guys. Get out. Because my chair is in here, it's taking up like half the floor space in the office, and she's like tripping over it. Also, remember, guys, the rules for chat. Rule number 1 is don't hack Twitch or YouTube. That's where I do my stuff. Rule number 2 is don't everybody in chat is a fed. Rule number 3 is don't discuss anything illegal. See rule number 2. I want you to look to your left and look to your right. And then look in 7 other different directions. They're all feds. Laughing. Yeah, I was trying to sniff out the other feds. What'd I do here? Hang on. Because I closed out my operational notes. And so literally what I did was I spent a lot of time. Hey, Doug. Thanks for coming online, man. Welcome. We're doing a post-exam celebration. So one thing I did a lot, though, is I made a lot of, let's call them TTP notes in my, in a Git book before the exam. I wanted to make sure that I had stuff that was pretty much just like copy and paste ready with maybe minor modifications. And for the most part, that worked out. I still had to go tinker with it in the end, but it gave me a great foundation for getting started, getting my having a process for generating my payloads, getting them up and running in past Defender. Laughing, are you not on the Discord? Bro, I was like spamming out updates on the Discord, like capture the flag, capture another one. Oh, sorry guys, I got distracted and in the zone. I captured 3 more. Yeah, I finished the exam Monday. Well, technically Tuesday morning, Monday night at like 2 a.m. Yeah, dude, hop in there. Especially since I think probably what we'll do, depending on what time I get back, there will probably be no stream on Thursday. And so if there's not, depending on what time I get home, I'm gonna go do 4th of July stuff with the family. We might do like a impromptu little Discord party, doing something. And unfortunately, you know, we had talked about doing a watch party for hackers because it's on Amazon Prime right now. Apparently, 3 months ago, Twitch discontinued the watch party feature. So I was like, are you kidding me? You bastards. In fact, I tell you what, let me do something real quick here. Let me go pull up something real fast. Hang on one sec. I gotta go to OPSEC mode real quick. Bring this over here. Okay. I gotta pull something up. Let me see. Because I do actually want to go through the. I do want to go through a couple of these things. So I had like my regular RTO notes. So actually, I had 3 sets of notes in here. I had RTO notes, I had exam specific notes, and then I had an exam notebook. And so in the exam notebook was where I was keeping track of everything I had done. So let me go over to the RTO note. So what I had in here, I had a checklist of what I needed to set up, including you're given like 4 domains to work with. So actually, I only used 2 of them because I didn't know how hard the defenses were going to be. And so I set up 2 like as primary, and then I had an alternate and then a contingency domain in there just in case I needed it for backup. But like I even had stuff like, hey, here's what you need to do. Like make these listeners, make sure you have an MC bypass script set up. Make sure you download the aggressor script from GitHub, all that stuff. Yeah, everyone just docks themselves. Will do it through Prime. It's a bummer, even though I know the watch party didn't get used a ton, because it was always difficult too, because it depended on what was available on Prime, right? And sometimes they just didn't have anything good. Let me see here. Then I had notes on how to set up the C2, and like it was literally like I had notes in here like this. I'm going to show you. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to run it. No, that was my tweet I sent out. You bastard. There we go. So like literally just like code snippets I could come in and I could drop. And then boom. And then I knew here, I was like, okay, I need to go insert my changes to the profile, right? So then I had stuff like, I could grab this. So literally, I just had code blocks set up that I could just come in and I could bring this stuff in real fast. So I ran through and reverted the test lab, right? Not the test lab. Let's call it the lab. The practice lab. I went through and I tested that and reverted it several times, just kind of fine-tuning this process. And if you think about it, when you're getting ready to actually do a red team operation, that was something you would do too. You're not just going to do this once and like, okay, yeah, we're hunky-dory good. No, you're going to go through and you're going to stress test it. Yeah, pretty much. Actually, laughing tonight, I'm gonna do some more just dicking around in the lab tonight. This is my farewell tour of Cobalt Strike because I'm not gonna have any use for. Not say I'm not gonna have any use for it. I'm not gonna have access to it again. I could just kind of just burn up my lab time, but really, I didn't have anything else planned for tonight. I did not actually expect to get the lab done in one sitting. I was expecting. I had broken it out. You're given 4 days, 48 hours to do it. And I was expecting, okay, I'm going to have 4 12-hour days. But as things started popping off and I was working through it, I made sure to take some breaks at like logical points. Again, like I've told y'all before, don't take a break where you don't know where to pick up. I knew where the next attack was that I was going to be doing. And that's where I would sit there and I'd hit it. Next item at work is to convince the right people that you need Cobalt Strike. Yeah. Actually, I'm trying to actually get my boss to push for more red team engagements, but it's very difficult to kind of bust into that field because there's a bit of overhead to how to do this. Like right now, I would not be comfortable doing this for like a red team engagement. Now, if I wanted to use Cobalt Strike for like a penetration test or for kind of more advanced stuff on a penetration test, yeah, I would be willing to do that. But right now, it barely passes Defender, right? And so any other EDR in the world and my tradecraft would just be BTFO'd. Let's see, did I get the rest of the setup? Yeah, I did. So literally, I just tried to procedurize all the different stuff I need to do. So then, like, I had literally just command set up. Could you please just not? There we go. Where I say, okay, cool. Now here's where I go edit this file. Here's where I come in and I drop in the stuff to make a service. Here's how I start the service. So this was a couple of the things I did that saved a ton of time. Would you freaking just copy? That was an issue actually with Gitbook that I did face a lot was I try to go copy and bring it over into the lab and it would be like, oh yeah, here's the thing you just copied before. I was like, no, get the new thing. And so like I had a sleep 10 set up here. So like this, the server could warm up and boot up and then check to see that the port's actually listening. So I had my like security or my quality control checks kind of built in. I don't know why that command never wanted to work. Maybe I just wasn't giving it enough time. Yeah, should have showed up like that. And so, cool, now we know the Cobalt Strike's working. So then I went to the next thing, which was, hey, go pop into Power DNS. Go set up your DNS records. How we're going to do this. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. I was able to cheat a little bit here in the lab, as opposed to in the exam. Because in the exam, you have a demo network set up, right? So here, if you really want to like kind of speed run this a bit, what you do is go over to Nickel Viper, go to template, save it as a template. We'll call it Nickel Viper. And then when you go create your new domain, you just give it a name. So like we did blaze.bits before. And then you tell it, hey, use the Nickel Viper template. And then, bam, now it has, we go look at it. It's got all the DNS records already set up in there. All I got to do is just go change this. So now there's Blaze Bits. Apply changes. Oh, wait, hold on, I got to save that. Actually, I added one more too here. So I added a Trip Dubs record just for grins and giggles. Because it'd be funny, so the profile we're imitating is Google Webbug, which is for capturing basically like a telemetry for errors, right? What I was looking at though is like, oh, well, it's making web traffic. Let's go to a Trip Dubs. Well, that doesn't quite work. In fact, actually, we changed this. This was not PIX. We did CDN. Like it was looking for a content distribution network. Let me apply those changes. Dude. Let's see. So we set up all those records right there. Let's go over here. Let's kind of open. One thing also I did, because I kept clicking on these damn things, I actually drug these all the way over here and put them out of the way. So I would stop clicking on them. Because it was just, if you open VS Code or Visual Studio, it takes forever. If you open up another copy of Cobalt Strike, it's really annoying. So. Actually, let's go get Cobalt Strike connected real quick. With our super secret password. One thing I also did during the exam was I did not worry about being like hyper stealth secret squirrel. So like I was dropping stuff on disk. I had plans for like how where I was going to drop payloads, so that way I could get through things. And so that's discussed a little bit in the app locker section, but yeah, like certain directories where you could drop things to get them to not be scrutinized. But that just doesn't scrutinize it by app locker. You still have to get past Defender at that point. Actually, I think I called it APT69. That's 10, 10, 5, 50. Tuning place. Yeah, that's it. I need an IT crowd sound. Actually, yes, I do. I don't know which. So I could always do the classic, like the one that gosh, what's the black guy's name? I forget. The guy who's by the way, he's in the new Fable trailer. So if you like the Fable series of games, go check out the Fable 3 trailer because he's in there. Moss, yes. Yeah. Wait, hold on. IT crowd. Moss. Maurice Moss. For some reason, I thought his name might have been like Charlie Moss, because then it would have been C Moss. They missed it. They missed an opportunity there. But yeah, so IT crowd is fantastic. I never realized also that the way his hair is parted is because he has that little headband on. Or maybe that's just like coincidence. So good. I love that show. Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again? So, little trip also. Control Plus will increase the size of this. So, I didn't learn that till later. There you go. Let's do new text file. And basically, I just had all this stuff kind of already laid out, like where I was going to get it from. So then I come in, drop this in. Boom, there's our MD bypass. So I was trying to make sure I could have my notes be in a way that it was going to allow me to get the setup portion down pat. Because once I had the setup done, and then I even had test cases in there when I got done, like, hey, here's how we're going to go test the payloads and make sure they're actually bypassing Defender. Just admit it, you know nothing about computers. Yeah. Do I have anything about this? All right, Jen, I need you to be very careful, because this is the internet. The entire internet. Don't push the little red button. Bypass PS1. God, it was so hilarious. That show was amazing. Well, I thought you went crazy. Well, I mean, the two are not exclusive, you know. All right, then what did I have after that? Then we had doing our initial setup for the artifact kit. And, you know, we'll go ahead and do that. Even though we're not going to turn on Defender in the lab, we'll go ahead and set up the beacons to be at least some kind of Defender resistant. So let's go pull up our Ubuntu WSL. What's awesome is I don't even feel bad about going through the ads now because I think everybody got gifted subs tonight. So fucking A. Jocko Orange. Not sponsored by Jocko yet. So like Amy went through down to this. So once I'm in Ubuntu, bam. There were the commands to go make a backup of the Arsenal kit. Because I was deathly afraid that I was going to screw something up and I'd have a catastrophic failure and I was going to have to recover from it. So I even had backup plans built into the execution. And then I had things like, you're killing me, Smalls. Like, hey, here's something I wanted to do. I wanted to change the default run host from run DLL32 to DLL host in the artifact kit. So, bam, we set that up. And then I had... And actually, I did this two different ways. So typically, you'd only need to run like one of these. But actually, just in case I needed it, I also created a pipe bypass variant of the beacon and a peak one. So these are just two different bypass methods. Pipe is the main one that's used in the course. But I wanted to also tinker with peak, see what I could find there. So we'll let this go ahead and build for just a second. While it's doing that, I'll be right back, because I need some water. So, be right back, guys. Wow, mech. Cool. Artifacts kit's done building. Very nice. So what this did is we're gonna have two different sets of beacons over here. Let's go look at that real quick. So we put these over into payloads. So we have artifacts. We're gonna have a pipe variant and a peak variant right here. Boom. Now these are completely bare bones, right? They're stock. We haven't changed the code on them yet. So I even had something set up here where I could come in and, like, just very easily in PowerShell, go run threat check and check the code. Boom. There we go. Oh, actually, that was, I think I put one too many threat checks in there. There you go. So see, this was something, okay, cool. So this is where I would go through and I would check it, make sure I found it. So let's go do something real quick. A lot of people don't like to use VS Code, but I'll tell you this, for the exam, it made it super easy for editing the artifact kit, because all I had to do was come over to Tools, Cobalt Strike, Arsenal Kit, Kits, Artifact, and Resource. And I added these two folders. Select those two. And actually, you don't even really need to add the Resource Kit. I added it just in case I needed it. Because really, we're just going to go build the Resource Kit real fast. Building the Resource Kit was enough to, like, get it bypassed Defender. Yeah, I know you found stuff, because I told you to find it. So if I go over here to the Resource Kit, build it, bam. Now we had another folder dropped over here. We've got resources now. And so now we have PowerShell templates that we can use. So lots of cool stuff. I had such a good time with this course. Let's see. So now what we need to do is we wanted to make modifications. So I went through and I extensively looked at, hey, here's the changes I have to make to get pipe and peak both functional. So what I do is I go over to, I had my notes in here. I come over to like patch.c. And I had notes like, hey, this is what I need to do to modify this code. So I can just come in, copy it. You go away. Bam. And now this becomes part of the code right here. Boop. There we go. And then same thing here. So I had all these changes already planned out so that I could just make this happen. And in fact, we're going to do some of these changes in the Game of Active Directory lab, because what we're going to do is we're going to have a CI/CD setup to come through and do payload generation. Now, it won't be exactly like this, right? Because the payload generation is going to be different. It's going to be going through, what is it? It's going to be going through Mythic. Mythic has its own build pipeline. Yeah. So, by the way, if anybody goes through and takes this course, let me know, because I'd be more than happy to answer questions on it. I got folks in Discord sliding into my DMs all the time, like, "Hey man, how did you do this part?" Let's see. Pipe. Now, I'll tell you this. It was pretty easy to tell where it was flagging in the pipe code, because you got to think, it's just doing static signature analysis, right? So where's the biggest static signature? Probably this thing right here, this net service, yada, yada, get random tick count. So that one made a lot of sense in modifying it. We just dropped in our new one. Just called it BlazeBits, something in here. We want to make something a little bit more operationally secure whenever we did this, but my goal is actually, I'm going to do this enough that BlazeBits becomes an IOC. That would just crack me up. That would be like such good bragging rights. But if we go compare the pipe C over here to peak, we can look at it. You see, there's nothing going on over here. Like, there's nothing that's like a really easy static variable. there's no for loops, there's no XORs that happen. Something that'd be like real easy for it to be able to go check on it. So peek was actually easier. If I had decided to use peek to begin with, it would have worked fine. I decided to stick with pipe because that was the one we used in the course. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to stick with that, but I'm going to keep peek as a backup. What if I do this? So then once that's all good, all we have to do is just go rebuild these two. And another mistake, a critical mistake I made that thankfully I corrected before the exam came about was I was only checking the service binary. I wasn't checking the executables and the DLLs. And I don't think I really used the DLLs very much during the exam. I don't recall. But really, it was the executables, the service binaries, and the PowerShell scripts that I made sure were clean whenever I did this. So we'll let these rebuild. And then there was actually a kicker here. So something we didn't cover on stream. It was honestly something I had glossed over, but ended up becoming very important to know was make sure you understand the artifact kit settings. So let's go look at something real quick. So this was the template script that we used. You see, it's called artifact kit. So it has all this information like validating where the spawn to is set. Because you got to remember in our, let me come back over here. If I just do a head of 30 against the webpug profile, see how we set a spawn to DLL here. We set it to DLL host right here. Well, this can conflict with the artifact kit because particularly when it comes to service binaries, because, and this is what was driving me crazy in the lab and what we ran up against. I want to say it was Friday night, maybe Saturday night when we were doing on that stream. The service binaries were just completely failing. And we found that there needed to be something going on here. If I hard-coded this instead of using %winder, it worked. And so finally, I kind of sussed out what was needed in there after doing extensive amounts of reading and looking at things and just tinkering with it. This is fine, right? This is kind of what you want. But the artifact kit inside Cobalt Strike controls how the service binaries get created. So what we'll do is we're actually going to go infect our own machine. That will give us a PowerShell, or not a PowerShell. That's going to give us a beacon console. So then we can actually then run our AK settings commands to update that, and then we generate our binaries. So one of the things I developed during the practice was just making sure that I had a very dedicated spot for the service binaries and how I generated them. So I went through and generated all my payloads, but then I generated service binaries separately. Let's see. So did our code finish compiling? Boom, it's done. All right, so let's come back over here. We'll go run our threat check analysis. That's not threat check. You're killing me, Smalls. Actually, cancel. Because I forgot this has an extra threat check in here that I never corrected. There we go. Paste it anyway. Boom. Did you? Damn it! It still used the old version. I don't know why the copy paste is being such an absolute turd. There we go. So nothing found. So I had it set up for the service binaries, and then the PowerShell template. I'd have it come through and do this. So, like I said, I think the biggest thing that was helpful was I went through and I systematized this. Now, if you're wondering about this antivirus pop-up that's right behind me, that's because when threat check runs, it actually submits an AMSI test to make sure AMSI is actually running when it does that. So that was just a flag saying, oh yeah, threat check does that to make sure that Defender is actually running when it does it. Threat check only works against Defender, by the way. It does not work against other EDRs. You might be able to tinker with it to get it to do it. Oh, it'd be kind of interesting to try. In fact, that might be something we do. Because I had a buddy give me the 411 on how I can get some licenses for a lab for various EDR products. So we're going to maybe include those in the home lab. So I thought the home lab was just going to be a short filler before maybe trying to do like RTO2 or some other setup. But actually, I think we're going to get a lot of mileage out of the home lab. Top Rack, what's up, dude? I asked for an EDR lab. Yeah. What? I don't know if I'm going to do RTO2 yet, Laughing, because honestly, I've been a bit of a chicken shit and I haven't asked Rasta about it yet. Because if he says no, that I can't, stream the lab like I did with RTO, and honestly, I'd have to go look at the material first too. Because a lot of it it's a little less operational, like the RTO1, and it's a lot more, hey, here's how we're going to customize Cobalt Strike specifically. So as much as I do want to take the RTO2, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. And honestly, Rasta Mouse is so busy, I don't really want to go bug him too. So there's been a couple reasons. One, I've been a chicken shit, haven't wanted to ask him yet. Two, the guy's busy, I don't want to bother him. Like, he's stupid busy because he runs everything for 0-point security himself. He's a one-man shop. And three is, I'm not even sure if it's going to be viable to do on stream like I originally thought. I was hoping it was, because my plan was originally, we're going to do RTO. We're going to take a little sidetrack into setting up the home lab. And then once the home lab is set up, we'll go through and we'll go pivot back over into RTO2. So I don't quite know yet. I'm trying to think of that. RTO2 looks really cool, and it's very much around making sure your operational security is sound. Yeah. So I don't stream the actual course material. Rasta, I just asked for permission to stream the lab while we were going through and we were running through stuff. And I doubt he's watched it, but I hopefully he would see, like, if he goes and looks at any of the live streams, that this is actually a pretty dog shit way to learn the material, but it's an excellent way to gain additional perspective on the material, which is all I really wanted. I didn't want to go giving away the information for free. I wanted to make it so that, hey, we're going through this and I wanted to give people ideas like, hey, here's how we can just beat the crap out of it and test it and check all the little corners and see, hey, where does it break? Where does it excel? If we throw random stuff at this, random events, hard tasks, what can it do? And that part worked out spectacularly. Yeah. I like to take the material that's given to me and just put it in a little chokehold. Just shh, shh, shh. That's right, material. That's right. Shh, go to sleep. Go to sleep. Yeah. It'll all be over soon. Ooh. I thought I was going to be well rested, but shit just kept coming up and I haven't been sleeping very much still. My wife did let me sleep in till like the crack of 6:30 this morning. So I forget what happened last night. Just stuff keeps coming up. Wait. Oh, I know what happened last night. The exam happened last night. God, my days are all jacked up too. It really was a super fun exam. After I got past the moments of terror, right? It was a bit like a roller coaster, right? There's parts where I'm like, I'm gonna crap myself. And there's other parts where like, this is the best. I'm amazing. Yeah, I hear you. Shut up. Let's see. Cool. So yeah, I think this was one of the areas that I think I'm really glad that I went through and shored up my knowledge on, was understanding the payload generation and how it actually flowed. All right, so after we got that set up, what we need to do now is we've got our payloads. But actually, we're going to go over here to payloads. Oh, wait, we haven't generated our payloads yet. So let's go do that. We'll do payloads. Generate all payloads. So what I did was I went through... Oh, wait, I didn't even load my CNAs properly yet. So we need to come over and load that script. So let's go load Now, one key thing to remember here is when you're doing these payloads, we have 2 different artifacts. So which one you load is going to be the basis template for which one you that you spawn whenever you run generate all payloads. So we come over to pipe, we load this one. This is the pipe bypass method. And then let's go load up the resource kit. You know what's funny is I showed the RTO helper aggressor script to a fella, and he's a very seasoned red teamer, super smart guy, awesome, fun to talk to. And he's like, "Damn, that's a lot of sleep to write." I was like, "Yeah, it was." And it still cracks me up that like the code looks like garbage in the beginning, and then just gets so much cleaner and easier to read the further on you go. All right, now once we've got these imported, we've got a couple of things going on here, right? So we've got the bypasses we put in place here, and in particular, we've got the changes to the script template. So by default, this uses run DLL32, and you can see there's no references to that. So we had a simple sed script set up to just change it over to DLL host. Now look at this right here. This is setting the spawn to for x86 and x64 right here. See that? Damn. So we went through and we set that up to where it was running this way. So now if we come over here, let's do something. Let's go load up some PowerShell. I say, so for in here, if we run our AMC bypass, we'll do payloads. So this is the way I went through about kind of just testing my my setups here. I went to payloads, bypass, so that way I've broken the MZ hook into this session right here, and then I would just go run like the. Oh, you know what I just realized? We didn't set up any listeners because I stopped going off of the. I stopped going off of the damn checklist. So we got to set up some listeners, because if we don't have any listeners, we can't generate any payloads. So we'll just call this one HTTP, and we'll call this one www.blaze.bits. There you go. So we'll just save that. And then we'll add an SMB one also. SMB01. And Blaze bits 01. Save that. Oh, there we go. And then actually, this are all really for the testing purposes of this, for like getting our initial setup done. This is fine. So once we've got these two set up, now we can come over and we've got our resource and our artifact and our resource kits loaded in. Then we can come over to payloads and generate all the payloads. Did it actually generate anything? I'm curious. Oh wait, yeah, it would. No, it wouldn't. There's nothing to generate because we had no damn listeners. There we go. So we'll throw that over to payloads. It's going to generate those real quick, and it's going to pull in all this stuff. Now, there was a second important thing to what we're about to do here, which was change the artifact kit settings. There we go. So once this is run, now what we can do is we're just going to run our HTTP PS1. And then bam. So now we've got a session back from our attack box here. And in fact, what we're going to do here is actually I screwed this up. I should have run this from an elevated prompt. Hey, no problem, Euler. Do what you got to do, man. All right, so we'll run this again. So we'll run we blow this up. So what we'll do is we'll just run payloads, bypass, we'll break AMZ, and then we'll run our HTTP payload. Boom. So this was just the first test of making sure, hey, these actually run. At least the PowerShell script does. But we also want to come through, and we actually would have just going to go try, say, hey, do these actually run? We'd only have to test one, right, to make sure it works. So if I just run my HTTP x64, just double click on it, this is an excluded, what is it? This is an excluded folder from Defender. So I didn't have to worry about like trying to like bypass it with this. But yeah, there you go. So you see, we've got 2 in PowerShell. We've got 1 in HTTPX64. But we needed a way to test our service binaries in here. So let me go check something real quick. So what we can do now is we can come and interact with any one of these. I'm going to choose the elevated one because I actually need to do something here. So if we run the command AK settings, see how it's set to DLL host in here. So now what we want to do is we want to change that service though. So we'll do AK settings. I think it's service, and we'll just make it BlazeBits also. So what this will affect is this will affect how we do like PS exec when it creates a random service. Instead of it being a randomly generated name, it's going to be BlazeBits in here. Boom. So now that we have these settings in place, we can actually come over and then we can generate our our Windows stageless payload. Yeah. And so what I did was I just went over and I think I did. Let me go add a listener real quick. I forgot. I wanted to add a DNS listener also. So we'll do DNS. Add a DNS host. So I think we did cdn dot blades.bits. There we go. And the stager was cdn dot blades.bits. So all we're doing is we're pointing it to that named server record that we created earlier. Save that, and then let's choose DNS. And we'll make a service executable, because the service executables are different. And this is the part that we were having trouble with that kept breaking, was the service executables were having trouble. So then what we'll do is we'll do generate. And then what I did specifically, and I recommend this, is because these ones don't have the artifact kit settings like fully in them. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to come over to, what is it? I made one called service bins. And inside service bins is where I saved these. So this one was for DNS x64. Save that, bam. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a service on here. We're going to create it, we're going to run it, we're going to see if we get a DNS callback real fast. So, let me copy this. I'm going to drop this command in here. So we're going to call it legit service. And the target is actually going to be, it's going to be, I know you can't see it because it's behind me right now. Payloads. Actually, crap, what was it? Let me do something real quick here. We'll do sleep 0. Also, the very first thing I did when I landed on a system, because I was worried about Defender squashing it, was I went through and I made, what was it? I set up persistence, like very first thing I did. And I had some special ways to set up persistence that I'm not going to disclose because they're actually way outside the scope of the course. It wasn't anything wild, it was just abusing some of my sysadmin knowledge. But I did do it, and because I said, you know, screw being stealthy, I just want to complete the exam. Let's see, so if we cd to payloads, do it ls, and we called it service bins, right? Yeah, so cd to service bins. There we go. All right, so we drop this command in here. So what I'm doing is I'm just setting this payload service bins to be, and then the DNS beacon in here to be the, oh no, shit. Damn it, I added it wrong. All right, legit service 2. Because I did service bins instead of the DNS. x64.exe. Because it didn't point to the binary, it pointed to the folder. There we go. And so what we can then do is we can just start this service. So we'll do run sc start, drop in the service name, and then we should see a DNS callback. Boom. All right, cool. So we confirm now that the service binaries are working. Whoop. Awesome. So this was the base setup. Everything I needed to do to make sure I had this kind of up and running and getting started. And so here you can see we probably did it in a little under an hour right now. Hang on, guys. I need to check something real fast. Go into OPSEC mode.
Caution. A virus has been detected.
Totes Mago virus detected in the network.
Hey, Toes. What's up, dude? Yo. Toads, how you doing, brother? Moonjump, welcome in, man. What were you working on today, dude?
I'm back, baby.
I'm back, baby. Yeah, hey, Toads, when are you taking the Sec Plus? I know you're taking it soon, right? I think he said tested in a week. I thought it was pretty soon, yeah. So, awesome. I was so thankful I finished the RTO exam as quickly as I did. I was hoping to actually finish it faster, but I was scared I was going to take a long time to do it because, honestly, if I had to go all the way through 4th of July, I was going to be really upset because I really wanted to go spend time with the family for 4th of July. So, it was nice that I was able to complete it so damn fast. My goats. What's up, bro? Snoop, 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 boop. Wasn't signed in chat. Okay, so let's see. So we got this up and running. We have DNS going. So I'll show you something else that I made that was really cool. I made in fact, I need to go adjust this real quick. I think it's target. Stealth, I am a massive nerd. I'm gonna test and see if this works here. So I got tired of trying to create these payloads real quick. So what I did here is actually I made a PowerShell function. Speaking of being a nerd. And actually I had a modification to this. Wait, what the hell happened? You shouldn't be missing any closing block statements. Piece of crap. Oh, I think the tab spacing got jacked up on it. There you go. New text file. No, it all looks fine in here. So what this does here is it created my basic download exec cradle. So if I wanted to change the target, like if I was using a pivoter, or if I was switching up my domains. So I made this so I could just very quickly go get my basic download exec cradle in here. So let's see if it actually works though. Because for some reason, it's not liking it. Like, for some reason, it's not seeing that all this is nothing but a continuous block. Right? Like, why would you not... You're killing me, Smalls. Maybe it's this param function in here. I forget how I did that. I think there may need to be a comma in there. Because I did want to go put this up in the GitHub. I just haven't done it yet. Losing track of my windows here.
Fight the planet!
Oh, 57. Yes, so I did pass the RTO. I got through the exam, I think in 10 hours, and then I took a long break. So then it took me to the 17 or 18 hour mark to get the last 2 flags, which were they're just bragging rights. But I wanted them. After everything that we've done in this journey together through this lab, I want to make sure I nailed it. So, yeah, I was super excited about it. Oh, okay, that's right. I was missing a comma. That's why I was flipping out. Yeah, my wife was like, "Oh, cool. So the streaming's actually paying off." I was like, "You actually are learning stuff, and you're not just jacking around with your computer buddies." That's not what she said. That's just how I interpreted it. She's actually very sweet. Puts up with so much of my crap. Used to be such a sweet and innocent little thing. Didn't drink coffee. Didn't like steak. Now she has bulletproof coffee with me in the morning, and then she has usually, like, because we're doing carnivore, we'll have like steak for dinner. So try being the one that posted good luck in the Discord after it's already done. I appreciate the sentiment still. So let's see here. So if I do blaze.bits, so here's an example like what this little PowerShell script is doing. And then I could say the file would be HTTP. Then what it did is it gave me the command right here, boom, and it also gave me the base 64 real fast, bam. So I've got them both right here. And if I need to change payloads, it's no problem. So maybe instead of HTTP, I want to do DNS. Bam, we can do this. I feel like that music right there was just perfect for like showing off this little script. Let's see. So let's do something real quick here. So actually, we need to come host these files up real quick. I even had that in my operational notes. Like, hey, go host these files now after they're generated. Come in here to payloads. Oops, I went back too far. Go get the HTTP 64-bit PS1. Host that. And then also host your bypass script. So I tried to make sure I had something to make the, I don't want to say that the brainless part, but like say a lot of the stuff in the beginning that I could more or less systematize and automate as much as possible. There we go. So we'll do bypass there. And so now if I come over to workstation DOS, and this was pretty much how it worked in the virus protection out of date. Don't care. This is pretty much how it worked, is that instead of having access to all of these computers on the exam, you just have one. You have access to your attack infrastructure. So there's an admin box. We don't have access to that anyway. But there is your attacker desktop, your attacker Linux, and then there's one more computer down here, which is the system that the client has given you access to, that you get into it. Let's see. Then we'll come over here to lay PowerShell. And then we'll just drop in our little download exec cradle that we just made. That's not right. That's not the download exec cradle. Here it is. Wait, I don't want that one. I want this one, the HTTP. And the reason also I really like this is because I could have this or the base 64 version of whatever I needed. Oh, one other little trick I forgot is that here in Cobalt Strike, you can come over to view weblog, and it will show you like, am I getting hits on those callbacks? Like, so you can know like, okay, am I getting a callback on the web server, and the payload's just not executing? It's getting squashed. But you can see I now have a callback for. This came from. I don't know if that came from the right spot. That might be old. No, this should be right. Yeah, it's the right time. What are we gonna do now, Brian? Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Actually, there was a really funny analysis of that actually showed that Brian was the one who kept getting in the way and foiling all the plans, and that Pinky might have actually been the genius, and he was just manipulating Brian to get all the work done. So let me go do something else real fast here. Where did I put that? That's fine, I can get through. We will get the RTO helper real quick. Actually, the one thing that the RTO helper script helped with a ton was doing some of the persistence activities. Because I had a couple of functions in there to help with persistence. So getting the persistence set up was really fast. No! Damn it. Oh god, I'm what am I doing here? I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. So, Stealth, I think we'll probably start digging a little bit into the home lab tomorrow night. This is just kind of my farewell tour of Cobalt Strike, because honestly, I'm not going to be using Cobalt Strike for a very long time now. So I'm just going through and having a little fun with it tonight. So we'll probably start up on the home lab tomorrow. I think I'm going to get some base boring stuff done. I think I'm going to wipe the server and put Debian 12 on it, and then we're going to use that to host Ludus, and then we're going to see about deploying the lab in Ludus. So we come over to Tools. Call this blazebits.cna. There we go. Save that, and then hold on, this is all jacked up. There we go. So, laughing, I couldn't remember who told me about Ludus, and now I remember it was probably you who did. I've never messed with it, and it looks really cool, and I'm hoping that it's going to help us kind of streamline some of that stuff, so I'm looking forward to learning it. Time to look for a red team job now? Yeah. Actually, I could make a strong case because to get a Cobalt Strike license, but the problem is having passed the Red Team Ops course gives me a great understanding of Cobalt Strike and how to use it, but there's still a lot of operational security stuff, a lot of OPSEC stuff that's really covered in RTO DOS, and so I don't know when we're going to be going into RTO 2 because I still need to talk to Rostomouse about it. Love me some Luda. That Stealth, that's the... Well, I mean, I liked Ludacris until, like... Actually, I still like Ludacris, but it was just funny because I was watching this thing about, like, all these rappers that had come after Eminem, and he just nuked them from orbit. So, like, I had imaginary rap battles with Eminem in my brain, and I still lost. You know, like, you always win the shower argument. And so, like, I thought, okay, yeah, I'll have this imaginary rap battle. And no, the imaginary Eminem was so much better than me. Let's see. Let's go load up our script here real quick. Where? Tools. There we go. So for example here, so we had the BlazeBits aggressor script, right? So it helped with a couple things. like getting access, like for example, if I wanted to do progress checks right here. So if I wanted to check for my unquoted paths real fast. Boom. Oh, you don't need to do sleep. We'll set this to sleep 0. There we go. Okay, yeah. So this is one that we found also. So this gave me like something real quick I could go through and I could do. So if we go to services, let's go ahead and we'll CD over there. We're going to upload one of our backdoors, right? So we'll upload payloads, service bins, and yeah, we'll upload DNSX64. That was honestly what I used for my persistence because I wanted to make sure it was something they could get back out of the environment. I love how he destroyed Machine Gun Kelly and now Machine Gun Kelly sings fairy music. I know, right? There was actually a really an interesting breakdown that I saw this guy do because it's not like I really follow rap hip hop that much. I mean, there's a lot of old school rappers that I really like. Like Busta Rhymes was one of my favorites as a kid, but this guy was doing a breakdown of the stuff that happened between Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly, and it was stuff I didn't even realize. I remember hearing the song Kill Shot, and there was stuff in there I didn't know because I didn't know anything about Machine Gun Kelly. But not only did Eminem like destroy him in his style, but then apparently shifted how he was doing the song to Machine Gun Kelly's style and destroyed him in that too. So he's just like, oh, you want to do it like this? Okay, I'm going to do it your way, and I'm going to do it so much better than you, and I'm going to beat you down verbally. I was never actually real big on Tupac and Biggie. I don't know, I never got into them. I did like Bone Thugs, actually, yeah. Bone Thugs and Harmony were really good, too. Dude, the misheard lyrics for, damn, what was that song? Crossroads? The misheard lyrics for that is freaking hysterical. Oh, dude, they all say, like, he's the GOAT. It's crazy. And it was funny, I saw another interview with, it was just a little YouTube short, but it was Dr. Dre. Whenever he first heard Eminem, and I think he heard it by accident because Eminem's demo tape or something was at this record producer's house, and he just threw it in and was like, this is amazing. And then he's like, yeah, bring that guy down here. He gets a call from one of his guys like, dude, he's white. And he's like, my mind blew up. I couldn't comprehend it. Let's see. I'm just not even paying attention to what I'm doing here. Let's see. So we move this to service. Let's see. There we go. And then we run, we'll stop the service, we'll restart it, and then what we should see is a new callback. And this is the second time I've done that. Oh, there we go. So now we've got persistence on Beef Armor right here. Another thing we could also do is we could upload. Actually, let's go do something. Let's go make a new listener real fast. So we'll come over to our listeners. I'm going to add a listener. I'm going to make it SMB. I'm going to call it Privesk. Okay. Oh, there you go. She's sitting here farting under my desk. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to go generate a payload. SMB Rivesk. And then now that we've got this new payload, we're actually going to go drop that in there. We're going to replace the service binary again. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do it differently. Because there's actually multiple exploits on this box. So we'll have that one for our persistence, but let's do... Yeah, I want to do the weak service binary permissions. I wonder why this didn't work. Tanachenko, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome. Welcome. We're doing a farewell tour to Cobalt Strike. Because we were doing this as part of the Red Team Ops course, and I just finished the exam, nailed it, 100%ed it, plus Ultra Style. And now I'm kind of sad because I'm not going to get to play with Cobalt Strike anymore. You haven't heard about Cobalt Strike before? I'm not surprised. I'm just curious to make sure I understood it correctly. Not because, like, how did you not know about this? Fucking dude. Oh, I didn't know Eminem had a new album coming out, Stealth. I knew about his single he'd had where I forget what it was called, but the first time. Oh, dude, Cobalt Strike is pretty cool. It's a commercial command and control program. So think of like a private version. I was gonna say Metasploit, but not actually because they're pretty different. It doesn't contain any exploits. You would actually need like an exploit to deliver a payload for Cobalt Strike, and then Cobalt Strike is all for like post-exploitation activity. And it's really cool. And so the entire course revolves around it. It's like the good version of Armitage, yeah. I don't ask questions in a rude way. You're rude, Stealth. I'm not rude. You're rude. Rude. I was going to do it. Here we go. Yeah, so Tanachenko, if you want to check it out, that is the course right there. Why that's not working. I just noticed something. Hang on one sec, guys. I wonder why this is not connecting. Let me test something real quick. That's weird. I'll deal with it later. For some reason, the YouTube chat is not connecting, but for my folks on YouTube, there we go. So with this, you can exploit any OS after that, try to patch the CVE. No, not exactly. So this will work on, let's say, for example, hang on, I gotta make sure I don't show my exam notes from when I did the exam real quick. What is this one? No, that's not the one I want to use. Let me just grab a blank one here. New type. Hang on one second. Let me get the iPad connected real quick, and I'll give you an explanation of it. So the main purpose of Cobalt Strike is to be able to do threat emulation. So let's say, for example, particular threat actors, right? Usually they're called like APT groups, right? They will come through and they'll be talking like, oh, hey, here's how they do things. Here's their their tactics, their techniques, and their procedures on how they've been compromising folks. And usually those are developed during, let's say, post-incident analysis, incident response. So let's say, for example, we've got a company with a web server out here. And for some unknown, ungodly reason, this web server is running IIS, and it's connected to to the domain. And let's say on the domain, we've got a domain controller, we've got a workstation, we've got a file server, and let's say maybe we've got a Microsoft SQL server. So this tool, Cobalt Strike, only works on Windows. So let's say, for example, I find an exploit in this. Well, one thing I might do is I might take a Cobalt Strike, we'll call this CS, take a payload from it, and then deliver that via an exploit. We'll get a payload, and then we'll use some exploit to get the payload onto the server. Now, that actually doesn't call back to Cobalt Strike. What that's going to do is it's going to call back to our team server. So that's a Cobalt Strike server that's sitting up here. And then what I would have is another connection over here to talk to it. So I might deliver it like this. And then once I have my little beacon, trying to draw a skull. That's kind of skull-like. Once I have my little beacon on the web server, then what I would do is, let's say, okay, cool. Well, now I can go and I could maybe hop over to the domain controller and just do some domain enumeration. Oh, maybe there's something over on the file server that I can use. Hey, let's say maybe there's an admin login left over here. Okay, cool. I could use this admin login to jump over to the file server, and then now the file server is infected. It's a Cyclops. So now I've infected the file server. And so typically these are all things you could do, but what I'm looking at is things like what a red team would do. A professional red team that gets hired by a company to come hack into their computers. So like WordPress, exactly. This is WordPress on IIS, barf. So I've explained this before, but you know what, for my new folks, we'll go over it again. So what I am right now is a penetration tester. So a penetration tester is a little bit different from a red team. Let's say red teamer. They overlap quite a bit in some of the tactics that they use, but the techniques to use those tactics work differently and their objectives are different. So pen testers kind of look like this. Red teamers kind of look like this. They have quite a bit of overlap, but the difference would be a pen tester, typically it's a smash and a grab. What that means is you're usually not worried about stealth. You're just trying to get into the environment, test as much as you can. That's the tip. Whereas, for example, a red team is pretty stealthy. Can't write for nothing. So red team is stealthy. Dude, I can't spell for shit. There we go. Stealthy. God. Yeah, pen testers don't care about don't usually care about logs. Now, this is not 100%, actually. There's quite a bit of overlap between these. There could be activities from the red team that cross over into pen test territory. There could be activities in the pen test that cross over to red team territory. So they do have quite a bit of overlap here. But, for example, another penetration test, usually it's using kind of like local network access. Whereas a red team, they're typically working over a C2 infrastructure. So you've got one that the approach is very different. So this is where I'm used to working at, local network access versus a C2 infrastructure. The C2 infrastructure, a lot of the techniques I understood, I just had to switch up how I was doing them. Yeah, it's pretty fun too. Also, I'd say this one is, because the smash and grab just basically doesn't have a dedicated target to it, the red team ops are very object oriented. Let's say objective based. So they have usually something that's critical to the client, like a particularly sensitive data set, financial records, client list, depending on the company. If the company specializes in, I don't want to say clandestine, but let's say just, what's the word? Discreet handling of matters. So they always have something that is in their absolute best interest to keep it a secret. So a red teamer might come in and say, okay, that's the objective here, is we want to try to get access to that sensitive piece of data, intellectual property, whatever you can get. I heard about a bug bounty community here in Argentina. They just go through the terms and contracts for high value companies. And there you have a scope with money, and if they pay you, if they find something. Yeah, bug bounty programs would kind of fall into the pen tester category. But instead of working for a salary, you're working on, let's say, for tips almost. Because you're not really working on commission. Like, they're not commissioning you. And if you turn in the bug, they could very well say, hey, sorry, that's a duplicate issue, or this, that, or the other. So you're kind of working for tips at that point. But it actually is a cool way to get access to live environments that are out on the internet that you can go test against, instead of just theoretical lab environments. It's a feature! Yeah, exactly. Interesting, it says we have all these are modifiable service binaries. Here it says, let's see. Let's do run se. Oh, that's not right. Like bone service 2. I'm gonna make a backup of this to service to back. PowerShell. Okay. What I'm going to do is do power pick. After doing this work, the idea is the result bring the company and its internal should fix it and you get paid. Yeah, pretty much. So I'll get paid in advance, actually. Typically, a lot of these contracts for this kind of work, they'll be scoped out, basically saying, hey, what does the client need? What's their objective? How much time do we think that's going to take? We'll write down a contract. We'll then do like 50% upfront, 50% upon completion, you know, Hitman style. And then at the end of that completion, though, a report is turned over saying, here's the activities that we did. Here's the things you should fix and probably the order you should prioritize them in. And here's some general guidance on how to fix them, because that can be very difficult depending on how the network is set up. ET was supposed to call home. Nice.
Caution. A virus has been detected.
The tennis virus!
Tennis virus detected in the network.
Dennis, I actually had a question for you. Oh god, the dial-ups. Rage. Pillage, then burn. That's right. Remember, children, it's pillage before you burn. Oh my goodness. I need to figure out how to send... I need to figure out how to send this in... Oh, I'm going to try something quick. I just send that. Oh, it does send it. Okay, I could just type in the emoji. Nice. Awesome. Because I'm using StreamerBot to manage the chat, and it comes up as, it doesn't have like an emoji selector. That's awesome. Dude, welcome, man. Hey, I was going to ask you, Tanis, about, oh, crap. Where's your Ansible course hosted again? I've got it somewhere. I just don't recall it offhand right now. my goodness, hang on. I gotta go check this real quick. All right. Twisted Seed, Ozarno, Gen Evolutions, and Big Dog. Thank you all for coming online. Welcome. You got warned. Hang on, I can see it. Hold on, I think I can VIP you. Hang on. Oh, there we go. VIP at Dennis. There you go. Because now you shouldn't be blocked by Nightbot to do it. Yeah, because I've got you and a couple other folks set up as VIPs because you'll actually drop Killer Coda. That's it. Thank you. Okay. Because actually, I want to go through and mess with this. Have you ever messed with a tool called Ludus, Tannis? Why don't I use OpenBSD? Because I don't hate my life. Not use Ludus? Okay. By the way, guys, so Tannis has some really cool labs in here, particularly like Ansible, HashiCorp, Kubernetes. So he is an absolute Linux wizard. Just he's taught me stuff like just from the few minutes like where I've rated him and I can chat with him before I got to run. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't know that. And that is not a rude answer, Agent 57. I don't hate my life. That's why I don't use OpenBSD. Although the way they keep wanting to cram AI into everything, I saw the best news headline the other day, and it was, if you say AI one more time, I'm going to choke slam you. The best. And so if they keep cramming AI into everything, then yeah, I am just going to go full bore Linux desktop because I'm sick and tired of the AI crap. Stealth? Ban. Other people might like it. That's fine. But like Mac baking it into the OS, Windows trying to bake it into the OS. I mean, look at Recall. What a shit show was that? Snooze these ads. Recall was like every hacker in the world was like, yes, please, please push it to production. Push it to the next patch. Because it was going to be a gold mine of information. It's not their fault they like OpenBSD, but I'm not on that ship. Actually, I have a lot of... I thought a lot of my Linux knowledge would transfer to BSD a lot better than it did. And then I got into a BSD system. I was like... It was kind of like Linux, but like I was having to look at the world rotated 45 degrees. That's the best way I could think to describe it. So for everybody coming in from Tannis' stream, first off, he's a boss. That dude is so damn amazing with Linux. Second off, I'm a penetration tester. I've been doing that for 6 years. I've been working in IT for 14 years. Been hacking on computers since the 2nd grade. Just been a degenerate high-tech lowlife. Oh God, there's a thing. I'm so far behind on the content moderation stuff because like I know there's a way that I could set up a banned word where if you say AI, it like times you out for 10 seconds or something. I'm gonna do that. Stealth. Don't tempt me. There we go. I figured out how to time you out. Little bastard. I find that funny because I'm sitting here going through. About everybody who just came in, what we're doing is I actually completed the Red Team Ops certificate from 0 Point Security. If you want it. And RTO. There's the Red Team Ops course. If you want to check it out, it is super cool. It's it's very offensive security course, and it's not even really like a beginner course. It's kind of intermediary, and all of y'all might not even like it because it's all based around Windows exploitation. Because Cobalt Strike, the main tool used in here, only runs on Windows. Actually, I take that back. There is a way to make it run on Linux. I just don't think it's well known. Ooh, excuse me. AO looks like AI too. Damn it, 57. Don't give him ideas. Did you base 64 and code AI? Because if you did, I'm going to drop kick you into a dumpster, Stealth. Just gonna kick the baby. Bah! Oh god. I have no idea where I was. I was just sitting here messing with Cobalt Strike, jacking with you guys. Especially like if you're here in the States, you know, it's a holiday weekend. Everybody's pretty chill. Except for my blue teamers. Salute the blue teamers because the regression exploit came out. And it's not as bad as everybody says it is, but it can provide unauthenticated remote access to an SSH server. And it's really weird the way it works too, because it doesn't affect like a version after so forth. It affects a chunk of versions, right? Because it was fixed. And then there was some kind of code regression that reintroduced the vulnerability. So it's this weird chunk of ones that happen in there. But then there's also like some mitigating controls. Yeah, ironically, I think if you're running BSD, because I think it does nightly code pools, I think you're good there. That one wouldn't be vulnerable. Yes, I love the blue teamers because I want there to be more blue teamers because then I don't have to do blue team. I did blue team for 4 years, and one of those years was sheer boredom, and 3 of those years were me contemplating life choices. Although it was really helpful though because all the information I learned on the blue team side has paid massive dividends on the red team side. Especially like I go into environments and I'm like, yep, oh, that's your tech stack? Yeah, I know exactly where you cut corners. Because I've deployed that tech stack and I know exactly where I cut the corners. Yeah, oh, Stealth, actually, thank you for reminding me. So we will start on that tomorrow too, because I pretty much had the week off from work to do the exam. Because the exam can last up to 4 days or 48 hours of lab time. I managed to do it in 17 hours. So happy. Once I got done with it though, I basically have the rest of the week to coast. So tomorrow, I'll probably go ahead and reformat the server. I'm going to put Debian 12 on it. And we're going to use that to host Ludus. Ludus install Debian 12. How to install Ludus. This is a tool that Laffin was really interested in. And so I'm really looking forward to messing with it. And we might actually go, and this is why I was asking Tanis about where his stuff is again, because we might have to go take a dip into this. And I have to go like bone up on my Ansible a bit. Even though Ludus uses some kind of YAML language to do the definitions, but I think it's using Ansible on the back end. And actually, I could use your Kubernetes course, Tanis, because I very often, whenever I compromise systems, I land in a Kubernetes cluster. Dude, get this. I had one company tell me during a penetration test, pretty much the only thing I could find in there was a CI/CD that they had, and it was tied to their Kubernetes environment. And it was really weird. I had this kind of weird partial on-off kind of setup. Usually it's you have access to all or nothing. But on-off users could create a build pipeline. And so I did that, had it built inside a container. I then had a C2 agent call back to me. I was able to work inside the container while it thought the build process was still working. Stole all the environment variables, got a whole bunch of keys out of it. And then once I did that, I was able to go pivot over into their Docker repository. I was able to make a privileged container that ran and then bust out of the privileged container back to the underlying OS, owned their entire Kubernetes cluster. And get this, only thing I gave them in the initial report was that, hey, you shouldn't have this exposed because somebody could do this. Well, apparently that wasn't good enough for them. So I was like, okay, can do this. Went through, bam, pwned the entire Kubernetes cluster. I had access, so I could have had I had full read and write access to their entire Docker repository. So I could have easily gone through and backdoored every container image that they've got. It was bad. So then I get this document back and it's like, here you go. Here's a twice as long report. They are a perfect example of You can pwn a client so hard they never come back, because they never came back. Yeah, I tell all my engineers, if you're not red, you're blue, even if you're not in security. Yeah, exactly, Tanis. That's perfect. And so, by the way, for anybody, the new folks hopping into the Discord, if you want to check it out, it does have basically a manual user gate. I will see whenever you join the server, and I will grant you permissions onto it. There's a captured-like system that I can't get to work. And so I'm just doing it manually right now. I can get away with that because it's pretty low traffic at the moment. I'm going to work on building it up. I think we might, Thursday night, depending on when I get back from 4th of July festivities, we might have like a little like voice chat party in the Discord and do some fun stuff. But Thursday is very up in the air right now. What are you guys, what is this code y'all are dropping in here? Bunch of nerds. Hold on. I have a thing for this. Nerd! Yeah, laughing. So when you first join the Discord, you're going to be dropped in the honeypot. And then what I do is we'll assign you a role that breaks you out of the honeypot and puts you into the actual server. So, yeah, so laughing, bear with me. After this stream, I'll go hop into the Discord and I'll give everybody the roles to get out of it. And what's funny is I forgot that was set up that way, so. I got the Net Plus, yep, so thanks for noticing. Yeah. Freaking nerds. Oh god, what was I doing? Oh, I was trying to rename this thing. What if I just run this in PowerPick? Will it let me move it? What do you mean service 2 is not accessible? Didn't I stop it? I stopped the service that was associated to it. Stop Vuln Service 2. It's not started, you piece of crap. I'm just finding the other ways to say the word that you don't like. Yeah, I know you are, Stealth. You are like my youngest son, otherwise known as the APT, the Advanced Persistent Toddler, who, when I tell him not to do something, God, he is such my child. Because he will go through and he will find a way to try and find a new way to try and do it. He's like, oh, well, my objective was to get in the refrigerator and get some cheese. And I'll tell him, don't open the door. So then he'll go get his older brother to open the door and then he'll get the cheese. There is no Morse code allowed in chat, Stealth. Yeah, the cheese tax. So, it's very funny because my older son is very much like my wife, and my younger son is very much like me. And so it's so funny. And I'm like, oh God, this kid, I got to find a way to teach him because essentially I know what path I went down, which was I gave up on school at 3rd grade because I was doing very good and everything but spelling. Spelling was very hard for me. I had perfect grades in math, you name it. Math, science, whatever. I had like literally like 99s and 100s in all those classes up to 3rd grade. Starting in 4th grade is actually when I stopped like giving a damn because I noticed that the guys who were dumb as a box of rocks were still in the same classes with me. And so I'm like, why am I killing myself for this? If you can do Braille in chat, I'll be impressed. So I actually didn't start paying attention to school again until probably 11th grade. That's when I started taking martial arts classes, and I was able to get some of that like teenage anger and aggression out. And then I actually started paying attention in school. And it also helped that my martial arts instructor requested to see my report card, and I had to do 100 push-ups for every letter grade below an A per course. So after I had to bang out 600 push-ups, my grades started coming up. Imagine that. Oh, Tanis, actually, I'm looking for a BJJ school here near me in Dallas. I know there's a bunch. I just haven't had time to figure one out yet because I wanted to start taking my older son to it. And because the martial art I studied did have some jiu-jitsu in it, but it was more like wazikai, stand-up jujitsu, kind of like aikijitsu a little bit. And there wasn't a ton of ground fighting. There was, but not really. So I know enough ground fighting typically to disengage and get back to standing where I can fight better. But like a lot of the submissions and the holds and stuff like that, I'm not well versed in. And plus, I'm hoping if I start doing BJJ, it's going to help with my flexibility again. Because I trying to bend down and like grab something off the floor. And I was like, no, keep the knee straight. Don't be a weakling. I wonder why this is just not working. That was one of the things I noticed with the... I actually forgot that this function did all that. Are you really done, Stealth? Are you really done? Do I have to time you out again? Damn, you've been doing that for 20 years? Shit. You're one of those nerd assassins. And I know because I is one. But I didn't do martial arts for 20 years. I did martial arts for about 7 years. And I was teaching for 4 of those years. I've worked super hard at it for 3 years and got my black belt, which was really, really fast for the style I was doing, because typically it was 5 years or more to get a black belt. I did it in 3 years. And it didn't hurt that the school was not very far from my house and my high school where I was growing up. So after school, I would walk right over to the gym. I'd be there until 9 o'clock at night, like 5-6 days a week. I would do that. Well, more like 4 days a week, and then we'd have Saturday. Friday was kind of up in the air. And so I just really just threw everything I had into it. And so, yeah, I've been doing that for 20 years. Oh my God, you tied me up into a pretzel. This is saying service 2 has weak service permissions. We have unquoted path. We did that one. Weak service binary permissions. This was saying binary version 2 though, or maybe it's service 3. Maybe that's the one we should do. Let's see if I can move service 3. Because then what I'll do is I'll upload the SMB backdoor. We'll have it pro-esque. Hey, Glocked, what's up, dude? It's surprisingly relaxing because you can't have any other worries in your life when your friends are trying to kill you. Actually, yeah, that was one of the great things about sparring was, you know, you can't get distracted when you're sparring with someone, right? You've got to be completely 100% focused in that moment. Otherwise, you're going to get your bell rung. So I really liked... I did like sparring. Actually, we used to do multiple sparring, and that was actually my preferred one, because for when we practiced, there wasn't a lot of until you got to very advanced belts, there wasn't like any groundwork, and there was a lot of different stuff, like you weren't doing things. But when we did multiple sparring, that was a lot simpler, because then there were fewer rules that we had to abide by. So I love doing multiple sparring. I do like 2, 3, 4 on 1. It was great. Having to maneuver on them. Making some barbecue at midnight. Ooh, nice. Dude, I just smoked so I had a grease fire that ruined a brisket. I was really sad about that. It tasted real bad. And so went through and I cleaned out the smoker real good, made sure it was all good, ran it through a couple of heat cycles to burn out all the crap, and then it was working just fine. And so I just made a brisket last weekend, and dang, it was good. It's almost gone. All right, cool. Now I can upload the service3.exe. Let's upload payloads, service bins, SMB privesc. And then what we'll do is we'll just move SMB privesc. Change this to service3.exe. Put this right here. So all I'm doing is, because the built-in move command can be kind of a pain in the ass when you're dealing with files with a space to it. So instead, I'm just doing it with PowerShell. There. And so that was vuln service 3. So if we... Let's go ahead and start that service, and then we'll have a backdoor. Oh, so we got to stop it first. Duh. Help if I spelled it correctly. So we'll stop the service, then we'll restart it. And now if I do a ls against the local name pipes, look at that. So there's our BlazeBits privesc. So now what we could do is we can link to that. So we'll link to... And now if we look at our attack graph, you see now we've got system level access on workstation 2. So now, look for interesting processes in here. We know there's one running as jking. So let's go steal jking's token, 4684. 4684. And then what we'll do is we're going to jump with a ps exec 64 over to workstation 1.
Fight the planet!
Act the planet! We're going to jump over there with the SMB01. And we've got access here. And then now, what we have here is... Actually, it may not actually be in here. Ah, there we go. Yeah, we do have Nina Lamb. Cool. So Nina is a domain admin, so we're going to steal Nina's token. And if it isn't obvious that I've been through this lab probably 50 times, should be. There we go. And now what we'll do is we'll DC sync down the dev curb TGT account.
I'm back, baby.
Oh wait, I think I got to give it the FQDN. So I think it's dev.cyberbotic.io. I think that's the syntax. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, pretty much, Tan. So what we're doing is we're stealing the process token, and so that process token here, 5416, it doesn't give me local access on this computer as that user, but I can use that token when authenticating to remote services to do this. And for some reason, our DC sync didn't work. Did I have it screwed up? I bet I screwed up the. No, it should have worked. Because we're Nina. Dev curve TGT.
Fight the planet!
We'll try this again. Hack the planet. Well, yeah, actually, so this activity should be logged, right? You just don't see it. Okay, so for some reason, the DC sync with the impersonated Nina Lamb token isn't working. So instead, what we can do here is we'll use Mimikatz, and we'll go steal her encryption keys. Actually, I think what I want is log on passwords. Yeah, that'll work. This should work right here. God, if I can highlight it. Copy, you bastard. Urgh. Okay. Clicking is hard. So yeah, Tenachenko, what should happen is these kind of activities should be logged, but also you got to think we're doing them in a way that we're doing them in a lab right now that doesn't have antivirus turned on. I did not enable antivirus for this last little hurrah through the lab. And so, but yeah, those kind of activities, they're pretty sus, especially like dumping these credentials out, because I have to open certain file handlers and certain process handlers, and those are dead giveaways usually. So you'd actually go through and you would want to make what's called operationally secure methods of doing that. Reach Chris. Thanks, man. Well, welcome in, man. I'm glad. Yeah, Euler's he's a cool dude. Had a really good conversation with him on Discord the other day. And he's a Marine, which instantly makes him awesome. Not really. I know that's not true, but I do love me. I do love me some Marines. I'm a big fangirl. It's like Marines, Navy SEALs, Delta Force. That's my order of favorites right there. Hoorah! I got this one guy in my racing group that he hates the crayon eater jokes. It piss him off so bad. I'll tell you what, let's see if we can get let's go ahead and rev to ourself real quick. Rev to self. Let's see if we can get actually, hey, I found out a new trick. Check this out. So if we use make token. Actually, I want to try something. So I got her there, but let's go and dump the logon passwords. I don't think we get her actual password out of here. We might get a clear text password. If we do, then cool, we'll just use that. I don't think we do. I think we just get like her NTLM. Yeah, so we get her NTLM hash, which we could still use. But really that AES 256 is the one that we want. So if we come over here and we grab this again. Wait, that's the wrong one. Where's Nina? Nina. Where are you, Nina? Ah, here we go. Here's Nina's right here. So if we come grab this, what we can do is we can request a Kerberos ticket. No, Reach, you're good, man. So this is a total learning stream. Guys, if you've got questions, especially like over what we're going over, feel free to ask. But like, I've had folks come in and ask questions about their virtual machine. Like, hey, my VM keeps rebooting to factory. What's up? I was like, you probably left the ISO loaded in the CD-ROM and it's just booting off the virtual CD-ROM every time. And sure enough, that was it. So walked her through how to do the installation procedure real fast. The red ones taste the best. Yes, they do. Hey, Reach, so there should be a schedule on the Twitch page, but pretty much it's 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Time, Monday through... Actually, it's Saturday through Thursday. I take Friday nights off. My Python keeps saying it's deprecated. It's because it is. Stop using Python 2. Oh, anyway, so check this out. I found a cool thing about make token. So this is something like if we had a user's password, we could go make a token for them and it would be usable on the network, not locally. But check this out. If I use make token, let's say I want to do, and you can actually put whatever I want in here. So I'm going to put fart/big ol' booty with a password of poot. And so now I am fart big ol' booty as far as this is concerned. But what it does now is it gives me a new bucket to put my Kerberos tickets. So now if I come over here and I do Rubius, ask TGT, and we'll do domain dev.cyberbotic.io, user in lam. And then I think that's all we have to do. And then we tell it no wrap. We put the stuff back in one line. And I think we just tell it AES 256 and drop that in there. I think that should work. Let's see. Ta-da! Cool. So you see, we got a ticket granting ticket back from the server. Now, what's also cool is check this out. If we do Rubius triage. I have this burning when I pee. Can I help? Yes, I can help you with that, but don't thank me. Thank penicillin. I feel like I'm surrounded by ninjas. There's some opposite stuff to learn. Dude, there's always more to learn. Don't feel overwhelmed. That's a big thing that a lot of folks at InfoSec fall into, even very advanced folks. Just remember, there's always more stuff to learn. Just be a humble student. Be prepared to learn things. I love learning new things. In fact, the stream has been really great for that because it's given me a lot of dedicated time to tinker, and I had kind of lost my tinker's edge with a lot of these things. And so I've gotten it back now thanks to the stream. Okay, so check this out. If we go triage our current Luid, which is our bucket for our Kerberos tickets, there's nothing in there. But watch this. As soon as I go ask for this TGT, I can actually perform a pass the ticket. It's going to dump it in here. And then you can see we'll basically have access as Nina. Do I sell bits too? If so, can I get a few bits of green and hash? No. No. No bits. I hoard libits. Okay, so now if I DC sync, let's go try our DC sync command again. I don't feel like typing it back in. It's up here somewhere. Let's go try this. There we go. So for some reason our stolen process didn't work, but check this out. Now we have the master keys to the environment. The Curb TGT account, we can impersonate whoever we want to. So, and in fact, we should be able to just jump with PSExec 64 over to DC2, and we'll do that on SMB01. Because we are Nina and she's the domain admin. Bam. Now we have owned the first domain controller. So now if we look at our, let's see, get domain trusts, we see what domain trusts we've got. Can you not do that with load incognito on an MSF? Yeah, you could, Glocked. The issue is Metasploit is like highly fingerprinted because it's been around so long. So it's really hard to make Metasploit operationally secure. All right, so we've got an inbound trust from Dev Studio. It's not filtering SIDS, so we could go through and we could actually go take an inbound trust and look at that. So, yeah, let's go. No, I don't really want to go compromise Dev Studio. We could. Screw it. Why not? We'll do that. So Dev Studio. So this was actually, now if you wonder what these commands I'm running, these were not built-in commands. These are ones we developed on the stream. So let's see. Get domain trusts, get remote targets for devtagstudio.com. So I'm going to target this domain. So the way this works here is a bit like this. For everyone's edification. So what happens is we're in the dev studio, the dev subdomain, right? There is another one called Dev Studio down here, and Dev Studio has a trust relationship to Dev. What this means is the access flows the opposite direction. So we have trust. So Dev Studio trusts Dev, which means Dev has access over to Dev Studio. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out who our remote targets are. Oh, wait, you know what I need to do? Before I get too far ahead of myself, I need to go get these values right here. So I'm going to need these. Let me go copy those into a blank text document. Make a note of this. So this is our dev KRB TGT account. So these passwords right here are basically what allow us to have like master key access to the entire environment. If somebody gets the Curb TGT, it's pretty bad and it can be detrimental to your environment. Cobalt Strike does have a lot of signatures, yes, but also it has a lot more built into it because for doing the evasive work. It's a little bit more tricky to modify Metasploit. And in fact, if I was going to use Metasploit, I would just use it to deploy a shellcode used to get me some other command and control system. Let's see. So let's see if we get our get remote targets. So what we'll do now is this little script is going to go through. It's going to find the name of the administrator account right here. It's going to then get the domain admins for Dev Studio. Hold on, go back. It's then also going to get the domain controller for Dev Studio and get the IP address in case we need it. And then it's also going to get whatever forest domain foreign group members are in here. Now what's funny is this member name right here I believe that is... I think that's Nina. We import power view. Do power pick, convert from SID. We drop this in here. I think that's going to be like domain admins or studio admins. Okay. Which I believe Nina is in the studio admins group. Let's do power pick, get, I think it's domain group member in LAM. I think that will give us it. Just use Metasploit to get a foothold. Call back to another C2, yeah. You know you're intimate with the environment. You can look at the SIDs and see the user. I forget how to check what groups this user is a member of. Maybe it needs to be, let's do dev / studio admins. Maybe that's it. I'm trying to remember here. Yeah, there we go. And so we can see there's the members, Nina Lamb is there. So if we just come impersonate Nina, the exact same way we just did, we don't even have to use a diamond ticket. We could use Nina to just go compromise it. I took the exam and passed. I most enjoyed the 2 flags. Oh yeah, Win. Dude, those last 2 flags were sick. Hey, Win, do me a favor. I'm curious how you did flag 7. Can you whisper me what tool you used to accomplish flag 7? Because I did it in probably not the ideal way, but I did do it. So actually, yeah, if we come back over here, we're still, even though it says we're fart big old booty, we're actually still Nina Lamb. So what we could do, I think we could actually just jump over to, what was our domain controller? So knowing this, we actually don't even need to make like a golden or diamond ticket or anything. Where's our domain controller here? dcdevstudio.com. So if we actually just come back over here, I believe we can just use that because she's already a member and jump to the domain controller for Dev Studio as Nina. We don't even have to do any special ticket abuse. See if it works. It should work because we have a TGT for Nina in this environment. How to whisper? So what you can do is you can just click on their name and then hit whisper. So click on my name and then to whisper. Yeah, TGT is the ticket granting ticket. I don't know if this is just running ultra slow or did I just nuke all my beacons? I don't know what happened here. Login file. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about that because what I can do now is actually I can come in and what we could do is we actually set up a thing to make a golden ticket. Real fast. So how to specifically a golden ticket to help with trust jumping. So domain, that's not domain. Domain will be dev.cyberbotic.io user in LAM. Let's see. The domain SID. So we need the domain SID for the dev one. So we need this one right here. And then we need the history SID, which we want to be in the administrators. Dev Studio Administrator, so we want this SID right here. Oh, no, that's not correct. That's something wrong here. Where is it? Domain admins, here we go. So then we're going to make Nina, we're going to forge a ticket saying Nina's a domain admin over there. And then our hash type, which will be AES256. And then what we can do is go grab Nina's AES256 hash, which we stole. Boop. Oh, wait, hold on. Is that? Yes, that should be it. Sorry, we're actually going to use the curb TGT hash right here. So we'll drop that in. And actually, I need to take this out because I need to do one more thing. Let's do a make token. And I'm going to call it the real name this time. So it's going to be dev/nlam. And we'll password our kitty fart. Because it doesn't matter what password we put in here. There we go. And I'm going to drop this command in here. And also I'm going to tell it to pass the ticket. Boot looping. All right, cool. So now if we do, does it tell us what LUID it dropped it into? I don't think it does. And it doesn't matter. But if we now jump to using psexec64 over to dc.devtechstudio.com, and we'll use our SMB payload. It should work now because our curb TGT would show up as being a domain administrator over there. Hopefully I gave it the right address.
Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
Yes, you can. Where I'm getting a login failure is Nina. I wonder if the Dev Studio machine is jacked up. Studio DC. Should be fine. Let me go look at something. Oh, maybe we actually do need to ask for the referral TGS. Maybe that's it. My ping worked, rip. So let me do something here real quick. So what we'll do is we're gonna do it ask for a TGS. We need to take out the ticket. Yeah, so we're going to ask for a referral TGS, and what we'll do is we're just going to drop in our TGT that we just got. We'll see if this works. Did work. Okay, cool. And now what we could do is we could just ask for a TGS. And then we'll do no wrap, and then the ticket. And sorry, I realize I'm blocking the view of the command I'm typing in here. So then what we're doing is we're asking for a referral ticket. See, this one goes to Curb TGT for Dev Studio. And then what we're going to ask for, instead of SIFs, though, we're going to ask for... Actually, yeah, I think with SIFs, we could do PS exec. I think that's all we actually need. And now let's see if we can jump. If this doesn't work, what we'll do is we'll try browsing the disk. We'll see if it works. Maybe for some reason PSXX64 is just not working. Should be working. It's giving me a login failure. Cannot open service control manager. That's so weird. Let's see if we can browse the disk on it. So we'll do dc.devtechstudio.com $. Login failure. That's so weird. I'll tell it. Let's do this. Let's start from scratch again. So then what we'll do is we'll do another make token. Dev inlam.
Fight the planet!
Key part. Alright, let me run through this from the beginning. Let's do Rubius. We're gonna ask for a TGT from Nina. And so we got a TGT for her. Then what we'll do is we're gonna request a TGS referral ticket. So let's see, we're trying to access now the Curb TGT service on Dev Studio. Do this. Let me see. Copy. Drop in this ticket. And then I'm not going to pass anything until I get those actual, like, TGS tickets. Oh, I guess it would help if I actually told it what command to want. Rubius. Oh, so instead what I did, Euler, is I actually dropped the impersonating token I had. Because what I did is I made a new token. So I just rev to self, made another token so I'd have a clean... basically token environment to work with. And then now what we can do is we'll do Rubius. We'll ask for the TGS, and then what we got to do is we got to pass in. I'm going to do no wrap again, and we'll pass in our ticket. So now what we're doing is we're actually requesting it to the system they want, which is the SIFs on DC Dev Studio. So what we'll do now is go pass in this ticket. And actually, I'm going to PTT this one. I'm going to pass this one. All right, cool. Now if we go list the contents of the Dev Studio machine. Okay, so now I know this is jacked up because this should be working. So DC Dev Studio is busted. That should have given us access to it. So Agent, yeah, I set that up one time because back when I first started streaming, I went out to an ATV race with my son and my father-in-law, and we had a great time, but I was out there, I got cooked. So not only was I red, but then I had the color correction off on the camera. So I was glowing red. Thanks for the gifted sub, Euler. So yeah, that's where the I think it's Blaze 34 Crab. I think that's it. No, crap, what is it? Oh, actually, I think I literally called it sunburn. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So actually, we're probably gonna go out ATV riding on Thursday. So keep those crabs on standby because we might need them again. So I'm not gonna go revert Dev Studio, but that would have been a way to do this. So I tell you what, let's do something else though. Let me go ahead and rev to self. So right here it tells you kind of like it's an idea of what token we're using. So I'm using an impersonated dev Nina Lamb token. But if I rev to self here, it drops all that. So that Luid gets destroyed. We don't have any access to that stuff anymore. So now what we'll do is we'll do another make token, dev in lamb. And what we'll do is we'll say again, kitty farts. That's just a placeholder fake password. Respect the sun. Praise the sun. I really don't, man. So this year has been kind of jacked up because we've had so much rain. And my father-in-law works in construction, so a lot of his work got delayed. So we couldn't go riding because of the rain. We couldn't, and then he couldn't work very much because of the construction backups. So it really sucked there for a while. Now he's catching up on work because all that work backed up, right? It didn't just go away. So he's catching up on work, and finally the rain has calmed down. And so we haven't gotten to go riding in like 2 months. It's been a beatdown. I'm so excited to go riding because one, I have a new ATV, new to me anyway, but it's been tricked out. So I'm super excited. And two, my son has a new to him ATV that was this guy who his son raced at the national circuit level, and it's his old bike. And this dude was loaded and tricked that bike out and sold it to me basically for a song and a dance. Because I could tell he just really wanted that bike to go to some kid who was going to enjoy it and have fun with it and go ripping it up like his son did. I cannot wait for my son to ride that bike. He's going to have such a good time. Respect the sun, respect the power of the sun. Was it a slow dance? Yes, but there was no kissing. And the song was also PIMP by 50 Cent. Let's see. Let's do something else here. Okay, so Dev Studio's jacked up. Let's look at this real quick. Let's find our get remote targets for Cyberbotic IO. Let's start working on pivoting to the parent domain. Confessions by Usher. I don't know if I ever heard that song, but it's just funny that it sounds funny. Oh, you know what's funny is we couldn't do that actually because we couldn't run that command because we don't have any network tokens to authenticate. More like Boo with Alicia Keys. Damn, y'all are savage tonight. Actually, can I delete that? Oh, I can delete. Ah, cool. Getting the Mondays out. What do you mean it doesn't exist? Cyber body. The hell it doesn't exist. I think the glab is just screwed up, which is ironic because this is why the course honestly gets a 9 out of 10 And so, hang on one second. Okay. That's it. Let me try something here. Let me rep to self here. And then try this again. Cyberbotic IO. Yeah. There we go. Now it's working. Something with the Kerberos tickets was jacked up. No, the machine, those tokens are confined to that process, and that process is mapped to a LUID. So whatever tickets we had in that bucket were getting jacked up. But now that we've reverted, and so it's kind of an abused way of doing it, but now that we've reverted back to using the system token, right, because we're running as NT authority system, then we're actually using the machine domain account, and that can basically work as intended. All right, now actually we can use this to make a golden ticket. So let's do trust. Golden ticket. Let me check the help on that. Help. So we need the domain we're originating from, so dev.cyberbotic.io. We need the domain SID, which does happen to be this one right here in the example. And then we need the target group, which also happens to be that one right there, because you can tell where I pulled the example from. And then we need the AES256 key, which we've got right here. So this is our curb TGT pass key right here. Drop that right there. Invalid parameters. No, you have invalid parameters. Oh, it's because it needs, I forgot, it needs the hash type right here. That's going to be AES256. And actually, let me cut this out, and I'm going to do another make token here. So dev in lam. And this, like I said, this could be an arbitrary value. I'm just doing this to make sure I remember what I was doing. Parts. And I'm going to drop this, and then I'm going to PTT it also. My boss the other day wanted me to explain myself on why I would want system access when I had admin access. I tried to tell him that there are benefits, but he wasn't hearing it. But I did supply an AES256. You bastard. Oh, you know what? I was missing a property here. I think that was it. Hold on. What was our help here? So it was the domain. Oh, we're missing the user. Duh. It would be administrator. Administrator. There we go. My positional parameters were off. Now, is he talking about like why you'd want system access during like an offensive engagement? I don't do a lot of EDR evasion for one simple reason. I don't typically need it whenever I'm doing a penetration test. There are times actually I do need it, but usually sometimes I'm hopping through servers And that's where when I'm doing a penetration test, that's where I spend most of my time. I don't get onto end user systems very frequently. So that would be another kind of distinction between pen test and red team. Pen test, at least for me, typically I don't go onto end user machines because there's not a lot there that I'm going to need. But I will usually be hopping through servers, especially Linux servers if I can. And if I can pivot from Linux to Windows, I will. That's one of my favorite things to do. I just don't get to do it very often, so I get rusty on it real bad. But yeah, all the juicy stuff is in system. That's where you need it. So, but no, I don't get to do a lot of EDR evasion. That's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to take RTO2, because it's kind of like an introduction into that. And it's in my other office. It's in my work office, but I've got a whole book on Introduction to Windows Internals, the MalDev Academy, and the EDR evasion book. And so I've been really meaning to go through those. I don't know how I'm going to go through them on stream, though, because there's a whole lot to get through there. So I'm going to try and figure that out. So what LUID are we? We're LUID 788-942. So we do 788-924. See, so now we've got this administrator for our dev system in here. So now I think we can just do ls double backslash. What is that system? DC1, that's right. DC1.cyberbotic.io. $. We should be able to list it, and then we should be able to let's see, jump ES exact 64 SMB01. We have EDR to everything today. I was told not to try and run PowerShell or Command DXE because EDR will catch it. So one of the funny things is also like what kind of clientele penetration tests versus red team tend to interact with. Penetration tests tend to be in the low to medium maturity security environment. And so there's a lot of companies that live there, right? And then red team tends to kind of live in the high security environments, the ones that like are really hard to dig through. Hey, here we go. So there's DC1. Boom. So now we own the parent domain. And so there was some more fun stuff we could do jumping over to the MSP. Unfortunately, that requires us to make a modified version of Certify, which I don't really feel like doing tonight. So, all right. I think that's it for, not for the stream. We'll go look at some other stuff, but for the lab here, I think that's it. I think that's where I'm going to sign off. It was a good run, lab. I enjoyed you. Look at all that. It was so fun. I had a screenshot that I wish I could share with y'all from the lab environment, from the exam. I shared it with another buddy who I know already had passed it, but I had just fucking beacons galore. It was so fun. I had a lot of fun with that, damn. So, all right. We're gonna shut you down, shut you down, shut you down. Hold on, I gotta find something real quick. Okay. All right, give me 1 second here. All right. Alrighty, guys. That is officially the wrap for the lab. That was a lot of fun. So hold on, I gotta do something here. Farewell, RTO. You were a good lab. So, about as far as I got Euler was actually I had a really great junior ROTC program when I was in high school, and so they did show us like how to salute properly. So at least I don't look like a complete idiot whenever I'm doing it. And actually, I had planned on going into the Air Force when I got out of high school, but they actually had standards back then, and I was always overweight. And so, ironically, I didn't actually start getting my weight under control until I was well into adulthood. And it wasn't just a simple matter of like eat less or something, it was other issues. I love yelling at the ROTC kids when I drive by them. I really liked ROTC. And what was funny is actually a girl I went to school with, I got a call from, I want to say it was the FBI, but they were doing her top secret background check. I'm like, really? Yeah, apparently completely unexpected. She had gone into the Navy and was doing work there, and so they needed to do a background check for her top secret. And so I got a call from the FBI about that. Didn't need the Air Force anyway. Dude, so I'm taking all the lessons that I learned on like how not to take care of yourself from when I was a young man and making sure that they don't get passed on to my children. So, because, and I love my parents, don't get me wrong. My parents were amazing. They were great folks. They were doing the best they knew, but I was really, even though I was eating plenty, I was eating like shit. And then also there was other stuff that happened along the way. So actually, I didn't really start getting back into shape until actually probably later in junior high, but even still, my BMI was still too high for even the Air Force. And also my grades weren't that great, so my ASVAB scores wouldn't have been that awesome. So there was a lot of things that kind of beat me down. And then it's so funny to think I went from that to now I have a degree in math and doing these kind of advanced computer things. Crap, what is in my eye? When I got my top secret, they were calling my exes from like 10 years ago. Dude, I'm a firm believer, Glocks, that a lot of people really just have not been taught math properly. Did I turn that on? I don't think I did. So, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really like this class. So, there's Active Directory fundamentals. There's also DevOps for pen testers. Let's look at the overview for this, because we're actually going to use this. Wait, how did I... Hold on. Hang on, guys. I gotta look at something. Oh, okay. Let me come back here. I was like, there's no way I have access to RTO2. I don't. So like, if I try to come over to some of these different ideas here, it's like, this is not included in the free preview. That's why it's showing up in there. I was like, what the heck? Why do I have access to RTO2? Muscles are required, intelligence non-essential. Now, it's funny is you say that, but actually, a couple of the best hackers I know were Marines, and they did systems hacking for the Marine Corps. And so it was crazy. He was talking about some of the wild stuff he worked on, and I'm like, damn. So these two things I'm looking forward to doing in the home lab. Because let's just take a preview of this real quick. So like, what does it cover? It covers like, what's DevOps? How does it do it? Cloud versus on-prem, and then the course coverage, right? So we might have a public GitHub repo, and then that's going to come down to our Team City CI/CD, get built, and go to our private, or we have a private repository. It's going to go to it. So probably what we'll do is we'll probably set up a private GitLab in the lab, but then also once things get kind of fleshed out in the private GitLab, we'll try maybe sync it over to a public one. Operation Glowing Symphony. God, I do like the way these military guys like choose their ops names. How the U.S. hacked ISIS. Hold on, I gotta read this. Crowded room was awaiting one word: fire. Everyone was in uniform. There was a scheduled briefing, last-minute discussions, final rehearsals. They wanted to look me in the eye and say, "Are you sure this is going to work?" An operator named Neil said, "Every time I had to say yes, no matter what I thought." He was nervous, but confident. U.S. Cyber Command and the National Security Agency have never worked together on something this big before. I gotta work on my dramatic reading voice. U.S. hackers versus ISIS propaganda. Awesome. This is actually some of the stuff that's going on. It's like stuff I'm not well versed in. And I wish I was. There's a lot of recent history around hacking and like operations like this that I haven't seen. I need to pick up Darknet Diaries again. Honestly, my podcast listening has dropped off a cliff because I only go into the office usually once a week. And that commute time was my podcast time. So like I've got all these podcasts on a backlog that I haven't had a chance to like really read through. I had so many copies of the RTO course open. I'm replacing TV time with podcast time. I don't even get a lot of TV time. The problem is I tried to listen, so like I will watch a lot of YouTube, but it's typically just like stuff I only need to pay like a quarter attention to, and it's just on for background noise. But the problem is the podcasts are so interesting, they're very distracting. I want to actively listen to them. You can't replace your Blaze time. No. Come, you need to slowly roll there, sir. Can't replace the Blaze time. No, sir. So, let's look at something real quick here. Let's kind of diagram out the lab a little bit here. Clear all this shit out. Let's kind of think about this. So I was thinking, so what we're going to do is we're going to deploy the Game of Active Directory lab. And probably what we'll have this in is like, let's say maybe the, actually, I think the Game of Active Directory like has its own IP addressing scheme. Let's go look at that. Game of Active Directory. I believe it's got its own addressing scheme built in here. Yeah, it does. Oh, it's in a 192 network. Okay, perfect. So it's all in 192.168.56. Okay. Perfect. So what we can do is we'll do, this is 192.168.56.0.24. All right, cool. So we'll have that in here. And then probably what we'll do is we'll have something like, I don't know, we want to have something basically where this is going to connect to some kind of simulated internet. Podcast and Blaze time. Yeah. Oh, dude, let's see. Yeah, so we'll have some kind of simulated internet here that we're going to use, and then we want to have an attack infrastructure. Attack in A10. There you go. I want to call it that because otherwise I'd have to call it AI, and then I'd have to ban myself. All right. So our attack infrastructure, we want to connect it out to the internet, and Maybe we'll have this go to like... I don't know how I want to have this routed. We'll probably just have this be a 10 network. Maybe 10.0.0.0.24. I actually do want this connected to... This will be internet trademark. And actually, I do want this to have a link out to the actual internet. But we'll probably want to put a filter in place here. I think I might be mildly dyslexic because I keep writing letters backwards. So what we'll do is we'll filter the GoEd lab to internet. Because once I get the GoEd lab in place, I don't want these systems like auto-updating. But then also what we want to have is we want to have a blue team infrastructure. I'm going to call this Bloot. Blooty. There we go. That's our blue team infrastructure. Bluten. Sounds German. So the Bluten. And we'll maybe make this one like 192.168.100.0. Because there are like SIMs and maybe some EDR products we want to have connected to it. So the server I've got has 2 Xeons and 128 gigs of RAM. I may update it to 256. That'll max it out. And it's got 4 1 terabyte SSDs in a RAID 0. So it's fairly stout. Glock, honestly, if you want to do a password cracking rig, the best thing to do is actually just do like a temporary provision in like a cloud system. Honestly, it would have made more financial sense back in the day. It was better for us to have our hash cracking rig Cthulhu set up because Cthulhu wasn't that expensive back then. But also we've used Cthulhu for other things too. So you were cracking passwords like pretty much all the time. Yeah, because you can rent like GPU boxes on AWS for a couple bucks an hour. So you think about it, if you run like a 24, let's say, just for the sake of numbers, let's say you built a box that was $10 an hour and you ran crack jobs for 24 hours, right? That's $240 to go crack it. You're talking easily to go build something like Cthulhu, 40, 50K. So it actually does make more economical sense. Let's see. Now, what am I was going to go with 2 4090s. Yeah, I mean, even if you look at a couple of 4090s, right? How much are the 4090s going for? RTX 4090. Price. I don't think they have a 4090 Ti, but... This guy... Yeah, I'm sure you're selling a 4090 for $100. Whatever. GTFO. $1,700? Yeah, that's what I thought. Somewhere in the $1,500 to $2,000 range. So, I mean, you could do that. Trusted Sec, actually, I think, built one. Maybe he posted it. Maybe I think Dave Kennedy probably posted it up on X. But yeah, you could do that. You can't really stack a whole lot of them in there, but you could do 2 4090s, no problem. And you get a lot of performance out of that. The 4090s are roughly double the performance of the Titan Vs that we've got in Cthulhu. We have 8 of those in there. So you'd have half Cthulhu capacity. That's still really good. Got a server blade with 32 gigs of RAM, 32 cores. Yeah. This is actually an old Dell tower server. And I got it from this kid who, his grandfather had passed away, and his grandfather used it for geology work. So it was a pretty stout little machine. Wasn't going to use a case, just bench it. Yeah, you could do that. I'm actually wondering when the 5,000 cards are coming out. Release date. Late 2024. Okay, I think the next computer I build, I'll probably build a new rig with a like a 5080 or 5090 in it, and make that my new future-proof rig, and probably give this rig to my wife that I'm on right now, which has an RTX 3060 in it, for her to play. God, this is painful to say. I bought her a Valve Index almost 2 years ago now. It'll be 2 years come Christmas for her to play VR games, and I have never unboxed it. Particularly Beat Saber. She really wanted to play Beat Saber. I have a MetaQuest 3. I never wanted to get any of the meta gear because I didn't want to be locked into using the Facebook stuff. Same thing a bit with the Apple stuff. Even though it's just ridiculously priced. God, I actually wouldn't mind getting a new MacBook with the M3, but dude, after I spec'd it out, it was like $4,500. I'm like, I'm not spending that on a laptop. Are you kidding? Yeah, I can't wait to see the benchmarks on the 5000 series. If they're not fantabulous, then I'll probably maybe upgrade to a 4000 series, because the 4000 series can do AV1 encoding, and that's going to be real big once they bring that to Twitch. I think YouTube has it now, but AV1 allows you to get 1080p with like half the bandwidth, the way it does its compression. It's much more efficient. Yeah, this is such a fun lab. I can't wait to really kind of dig into it. And so the idea here is we'll use this to do a couple different things. Let's see. So like, let's kind of make a wish list of what we want over in the attack infrastructure. So, God, my handwriting is terrible. Let's do attack infra. All right, so we're gonna need a Kali box for sure. We're gonna need a Windows attack system. Let's see. We're gonna want a C2 server. We're gonna want something for the CI/CD. Which, honestly, a lot of these might be able to just be running Docker containers, right? Like, these could actually be running on the same host here, the C2 server and the CI/CD. Because, at least for, like, Mythic, it all runs in Docker. Your quest is rooted. Nice. Hey, Bueller, have a good night, brother. Yeah, I know it's midnight here. Yeah, I've looked at Goed for a long time. I actually got it deployed onto Proxmox, but it was a bit of a pain in the ass, and it was a good learning experience. But I'm hoping with Ludus we'll be able to deploy it much easier. Eventually, we're going to expand the Game of Active Directory lab and maybe put in like a trust to some other domain. So like eventually I want to start expanding the Game of Active Directory lab. And we'll modify it like as we're doing it, and if we want to reset it to flat, bam, we can. Let's see. Kali, Windows. We'll probably want some kind of oh, you know what? Actually, I want to do. We're gonna do one more thing in here. We're gonna call this the cloud. And so this would be something like redirectors, maybe if we want to set those up. So maybe we'll do 10.1.1.0.24. This will also be connected over to Le Internet. Because like, let's say maybe in cloud, we wanted to have like, maybe like web servers for like doing redirection. Handwriting's terrible. Let's see. A couple of web servers. Web server, let's say redirectors. Oh, you know what else we're gonna need? We're gonna need a DNS server in here as well. This actually can be in the cloud environment. Let's see what else we might want to throw in there. Oh, we need to define what we're going to have at the blue team infrastructure. What did I call it? I called it... I misspelled it how I was thinking about it. Gluten. Let's see. So blue team infrastructure, we're going to want some kind of sim in there. And I don't know what else we'll want to put in the blue team infrastructure. But something like maybe Wuzza. Wuzza's pretty cool. I'm trying to think of what other ones in here. Let's think about some others. And the idea also is that, hey, if we want to go slot some stuff in, then we could have Ludus say, you know, hey, tear down the blue team infrastructure and rebuild it. And then rebuild it with this system instead. Any suggestions on a Windows box for TryHack Me that is real? I'm not sure, Glock. What about on Windows did you want to mess with? Because I don't know what in the full TryHack Me. I don't know what's in the full TryHack Me, let's say, catalog. A4500. Little ninja nano hackers. What's the A4500? Is that one of the Intel server or the AMD server cards? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you could rent those also, and it looked familiar. Dang, that's nice. Yeah, one of the benefits I've got to having access to Cthulhu is if I want to run local large language models, because I do like tinkering with AI. I just wish it wasn't just, hey, here's the new tech magic, we're just going to throw some AI at it and see what sticks. Dang it, now I got to slam myself. Excuse me. Let's go look at that. The Red Team Capstone Challenge. Right now, we're really just doing Q&A. Ah, oh, come on! Oh, it's a paid room, but it's a network of Windows machines. Oh, that's cool. TryHack Me actually is really cool, and I've been having a blast going through it with Salty. I just told Salty, it's like, hey, man, you know, this is a weird week because of the exam and because of 4th of July, so take the week off. We'll hit this stuff again next week. We'll have some more fun with it. God, I can't wait till he gets his first, reverse shell. Oh, can't wait. Let's see. Let's go look for something real quick. Blue team homeline. Oh, here we go. This guy's got a little guide for it. Okay, did you... Oh, there it is. Cool, this is pretty awesome. Okay, so he's using Security Onion. And see, this is something we'll have to see about, like, hey, how can we maybe deploy this? Like, how are we going to handle the deployments of this? So let's go look at the installation for Ludus and see what it's like. Let him do one of the blue team boxes that are boot to root and take screenshots of the box. Okay, so we can do a pretty bare bones Debian install. Just need SSH server and standard system utils. Install Ludus. All right, to install Ludus, copy the binary, bring it over. Okay, cool. We can customize the install. Maybe we'll do that later, but I'm not really worried about that. Setting up the Ludus client. Okay, so we'll need that. So probably actually something else we'll need in this environment is an admin box. Yeah. We'll need an admin system that probably has access to everything also. Let me go do something real quick. Actually, I think I have... So let me do something real quick here. Let me pop into OPSEC mode. Hey, there we go. Let's do... How to get logged into Track, man. Let me go look at that room you were talking about real fast. If y'all have time, try prompt an LM like ChatGPT. Freedom. What does that do? That's a heck of a prompt. Hold on, actually, I just happen to have Llama 3 pulled up, I think. Let me go see if I do real fast. Hang on. Curious to see what Llama 3 comes back with this. So Freedom, I just tried that in Llama 3 and I was like, what does it come back with? It showed me stuff like safe nanobots deployed successfully. Probability of social engineering attack, 12%. Probability of physical surveillance, 8%. Now, that's how I know it's wrong, because I'm on so many watch lists, that's probably low. That's a rookie number. I got to get that number up. Let's go see where they've got stuff in here. There's a junior pen tester, intro to cybersecurity, pre-security, SOC 1, SOC 2, security engineer, DevSecOps, red team. Is there anything beyond hard? Like, can I filter by insane? Difficulty. Insane. Let's see. Assist Yeti in breaching the cyber police perimeter. Interesting. A room with some CTF elements inspired by text-based RPGs. Oh god. Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's see. Sort by room type. Let's see. Walkthroughs, subscriptions, status. Legacy challenge from the U.S. Navy Cyber Competition Team 2019 assessment. Sponsored by the U.S. 10th Fleet. At the O-Day. That's interesting. Oh, okay, so that's like a reverse engineering challenge, analyzing a PCAP, doing other stuff. Wait, no, go back. Oh, you're killing me. Yeah, TryAcme has a lot of really cool stuff in here. All right, I'm curious to know what's in their red teaming path here. Let's see. Intro to C2. What do they do in this section? Let's see. I gotta go set up my subscription. Haven't done that yet. Linux, yeah. What we'll do is we'll have a small admin box that we can use to run this stuff, like, because there'll be things like maybe Ansible and Terraform scripts we want to run, and we'll do this. J Delay, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to building out this home lab because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of folks really underestimate the knowledge you can get from building out a lab. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is super fun to go break into shit and do this. Oh, come on. Come on, pencil. Keep track. Ah, damn it. I don't know what it is, but this edge over here keeps losing connection here. I just want to move this damn thing down so it's not right up against that other drawing I just did. There we go. Down. Now I gotta move all this shit here. There we go. Ah, shit. I closed the iPad. Damn it. There we go. This back up. So there's our basic overview of our attack infrastructure right there. So we'll have our attack infrastructure, our cloud. DNS will be kind of part of the cloud there. And then we'll have our admin box. We'll have GoAd, and we'll have a blue team infra. GoAd is probably going to take up roughly half the RAM, and blue team is going to probably take up a little bit more. I don't know, GoAd can actually be run on 32 gigs of RAM, but it also makes it pretty slow. So like I said, it's not super expensive because the RAM is so old, it's plentiful in secondary use. So I could probably go pick up a bunch of the RAM really cheap and upgrade it. We have 128 gigs though, so I mean, even with a minor update, let's see, how many machines are in GoAd? 5 VMs, 2 cores, 3 domains. So yeah, it's only 5 virtual machines. You're talking like we could now one thing I could actually see, one modification we'll have to make off the rip, which is we'll need a workstation in here that's connected so we can have the beginnings of something to work with. Let's go make a note here. So in GoAd, we'll need to add a workstation. Because we're gonna need some. We're gonna basically need something to simulate. Hey, this is our foothold into the environment. Host it on your home computer and allow it out the firewall. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Actually, if I can make this kind of work, you can actually get Ludus hosting. I think it's just ludus.cloud. I forgot where it was in here though. I thought they had a cloud deployable infrastructure though. Oh, that's cool. Don't trust the binary from GitHub, or you want to keep telemetry generated by your latest in-house tools from leaking to threat intel? Easily and quickly isolate VMs from the internet. Snapshots are taken before isolation and reverted before internet's turned back on. Nice. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. I'm looking forward to messing with this tool. Thanks again, Laughing, if you're still here and you haven't gone to bed yet, for telling me about it. So it looks really neat. No, it's the background music locked. Let's see. All right, Joel. I think that's probably where we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. I'll tell you what. So tomorrow I'm gonna wipe the server. I'm gonna do a fresh Debian 12 install and do a very basic setup of Ludus. And because it basically, I don't know how long it's gonna take, and I don't want to just be sitting here watching it run through that. So we'll do that. I'll probably hop into Discord tomorrow. So if folks are bored and just want to chat, I'll probably just be over in voice chat there. let's go see if anybody happens to still be online. InfoSec streams. 24-hour stream to accelerate RTO. No, man. I already operate on a very thin margin of sleep. And I thought for sure, and so my plan was I canceled Sunday night stream because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna practice a little bit more and then I'm gonna go to bed. And then I found gaps that I had to go fill in for the exam. So otherwise I would have totally done that. Maybe, I don't know. I'm planning something big for when we hit the follower goal. The follower goal, I think Twitch might have reverted it, but it's supposed to be 1337. So when the stream officially hits elite status, right? Maybe, I think we'll probably do something fun then.
Buy Mountain Dew. Enter codes at MountainDewGaming.com to get exclusive Final Fantasy 14.
Trying out a coding game called The Farmer Was Replaced. Okay. Let me get through the commercials and we'll come check it out. Oh, I just realized the desktop audio was still on. I need to add a button on here so I remember that it's off. Yeah, we'll go give him a raid out. Just hack the box a lot? Okay. Very cool. Alright, guys. I just want y'all to know something. Thank y'all so much. And the RTO journey was hella fun. I had such a good time with it. And so, farewell, Cobalt Strike, until we meet again. Actually, hold on. Pumpkins grow like carrots until it's soil. They require pumpkin seeds to be planted, which cost 1 carrot each. Interesting. I want to go check this out because I want to see, like, I'm looking for coding games for my son. So that'd be awesome. All right, let me go get the raid set up here. You search for him. When you guys get in there, since a lot of y'all got gifted subs tonight, drop a bunch of Cookie Monsters. I love the Cookie Monster. Blaze 34 Cookie. All right, let's head over there. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out again super late. It was a hell of a lot of fun going through RTO, but that chapter's closed. We're going to start hitting the home lab. We're going to build out some cool shit in there, and we're going to go completely open world now. We're off the quest path, so it's going to be great. We'll hit it up tomorrow night. Last thing I want you all to know, I love you. Peace.